father used to say, "Watch this man."
He's been cited by IGN, The Quartering, Timcast, The Daily Wire, Bounding into Comics, and even Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. It's only too bad Valiant beat him to Gutfeld.
Disney insider WDW Pro recently speculated on.
Time and time again, he's broken big entertainment news live on the air.
I've been following WDW Pro and his track record for years. If you want to find out what's on the horizon for theme parks, Pro is where you go.
There he goes again. Honey Badger gonna do what Honey Badger gonna do. Scooping and scooping and scooping.
Morty, let's check in on Rian Johnson's new trilogy.
Okay. I bypassed the compressor.
What did you do, Ray? Son of a definitely remark.
Now, he was okay, after 6-7 weeks. Okay? They get over it. Kids are resilient like that.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's the standard, what would George do?
I don't want you here.
So sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Blather, you fools.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
Weird. Stay away from liquor, kids.
I have always liked Cowabunga.
Cowabunga! Now that's more like it, Mr. Wayne.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
The Force will be with you, always.
That's how winning is done.
I am vengeance. I am the night.
That's what she said.
I am Batman.
If I won tonight, I would come home and we'd celebrate. Well, I'm coming home, we're celebrating. God bless you all.
Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. What we think, we become.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in just 2 minutes, the lighting at the Magic Kingdom will dim for the performance of the Pro Show. We hope you enjoy and have a magical, truthful time. For the safety of others, please, no flash photography. And welcome to ProVision 3D.
All right, everyone, put on your opera glasses.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
You know that you've been taught the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Yes, Paul.
Autobots, roll out.
I'm bringing the party to you.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money?
Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
We're gonna do it!
Leroy Dragon!
All right, it's time to go to school, son. Come on, get your hands up, man.
Are you okay?
You'll never take our freedom!
From the redwoods of California to the hills of Tennessee to the Rockies in the Sunshine State and Maine with that bright and shining sea. From coast to coast in North America, it's time for your host with the most, bringing you all the entertainment news that should be fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the show that explains entertainment and gives journalists the next day's headlines. It's the Pro Show Live!
All right, folks, how's that for an intro? And welcome to the happiest Tuesday you all have ever seen. We're going to make it that way. You, I, and everybody else who's here with us. We'd like to welcome in our producer extraordinaire as we get ready, folks, for a show today that is going to be show-stopping. Disney, I don't know how they're going to respond, and if any of them are watching right now, yes, we're going to leak what we know we have now. Jonas, welcome aboard, sir, and are you ready for a show where we go over some stuff that came out just prior and probably isn't wanted to be seen yet?
Yes, that's true. One accusation that I didn't think would be leveled against Tiana's Bayou adventure is that it is leaky. That's the last thing you want on a water ride, but we are going to be talking about that. And I think we might have some other things that we'll be talking about here. Pro is a wealth of information that you guys, the things that we don't bring up that are not quite ready for prime time, that we know about ahead of time, you would not believe who was originally cast to be Thrawn or was in talks before things went south all those years ago. But what is amazing and what we can talk about today is that we have a great panel coming up for you today. It is their, I am shocked that we get to have them on the channel. You know them from the Pro Show in the evenings on Thursday, and of course that Park Place Live. On occasion, the queen of all theme parks, Miss Lorena Creole.
Lorena, let's put you where you belong, right up top. Lorena, was that a shock that you're in the new intro? Is that okay? We didn't even ask for permission. Is that all right if we use you there?
Oh, that's perfectly fine. Everyone else has been using it since I dropped that clip.
Well, it was just so perfect. The laugh at the end. I mean, my gosh, you could not have done something any more brilliant. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Now, Lorena, welcome back. Happy to have you here on the Pro Show. It's been too long.
Yes, I'm glad to be back. Thankfully, no one scheduled a meeting over this, so I'm good. I'm glad I'm here.
No, the trick there is you just go ahead and schedule a quote-unquote meeting for all the time that you need blocked off for your social media stuff. So here you go. That's the trick. But of course, the trick here is, of course, the god of mischief, lowercase g, but we still like him. A man who is on YouTube every single morning at 9 a.m. With Mornings of Mischief. That would, of course, be Stone Loki. Welcome to the channel.
Loki, welcome aboard. And folks, this is amazing. Loki, this is your first time on the channel. I can't believe it.
First time here. Thank you so very much for having me. Good afternoon, gentlemen. And of course, this lovely lady right here, Lorena Creole. What a awesome content creator on YouTube. Thank you very much for having me, bro.
Happy to have you all, and what a great panel to get started with, folks. As we get started, of course, 500 in chat, and yes, we are going to be bringing forth something that was quickly scrubbed from the internet, but not before the folks here at that Park Place and the Pro Channel managed to snatch it up and make sure that we archived it for good, and now we're going to bring it to you. I also want to say briefly, folks, too, that this morning we released what is, in my estimation, probably the most important video we've ever done on the channel, and it's doing quite well. When I say that, though, I'm not saying that in the way that I would with a typical video where we want to get views because we want to have the channel grow and all of that. It's a really important topic. It has to do with what is, in our estimation, a critical mistake on the part of the Walt Disney Company and National Geographic. But at this point, we're not interested in blame. There's a critical mistake that we believe has happened based on congressional testimony that in a documentary for National Geographic, there were faces that were not blurred from Afghanistan, and that's resulted in a number of individuals coming to grave harm. And so we put that video out. Andrew of Legal Mindset is in it.
We have someone from the military whose identity we're protecting, but we're confident enough to say it's Mark. But that's far as we'll go. But a member of the military came forward with that. It references some different groups that are trying to get this fixed, and so I would highly recommend that you go watch that video, share it out, and if that's the video that draws national attention or whatever. The only thing that matters is that it draws attention. It doesn't matter about us. It doesn't matter about me or Andrew. It matters about keeping some people safe. And we don't typically do videos where we're advocating for people's lives to literally be saved and avoid them from danger. But in this case, that's what is out there. So I highly recommend.
Sometimes we mess around with theme park stuff. Sometimes we mess around with movie stuff. But this video and this subject is definitely not messing around. This is something that people put themselves in harm's way in order to protect America and American people. And maybe something could have been done in order to prevent lives being lost. So it's a great video. Go check it out, and please get some awareness of what's going on with 1208, the charity that is working there.
And at the very least, if this makes its way to individuals who can really shine a light on it, those who have even larger signals than we do, if an Elon Musk or somebody like that can pick it up and put it out there, and it doesn't matter. It could be Legal Mindset's video that he's done on it. We would love for the Quartering or Tim Pool. We would love for Flash, any other content creators, Nerdrotic, to pick this up. Not because, again, we want to boost ourselves, but because this is still on Disney Plus and faces are still not blurred. And it's a terrible danger to even those who are related to those individuals. And this just needs to be resolved as quickly as possible for people's safety. So wanted to put that out there, folks. Make sure you check out the video. Jonas, let's go ahead and rock those super chats before we get into our first
absolutely.
topic.
First of all, Death Scythe. I hope you're having a wonderful day, Death Scythe. Member for 10 months. Mexican Iron Man, chicken. You face accusations of being a Disney shill. Man up and face your accusations on Stone Loki's Taco Tuesday instead of running away. Was he not on Taco Tuesday this morning?
Nope. And Mexican Iron Man. Okay, so Mexican Iron Sister was supposed to make an appearance this morning and talk about some of the dirt on Mikey, and she mysteriously did not make it to the show. And I got a text this morning saying, Mr. Loki, sir, I'm sorry, but I cannot consciously come on your show and denigrate the name of Mexican Iron Man. And I was like, that does not sound like Anita at all. That sounds
like she's been tied up in the back of a taco truck somewhere serving rabbit chicken tacos. We're on to you, Mexican Iron Man. We're on to you.
This one from Slade Wilson for $5. Slade Wilson, the returned man. Don't be a lazy person. Subscribe. Wait, well, don't be a lazy. Hit the like and subscribe. I don't know. Start the show.
He's actually playing 4D chess with you now, Jonas. Not only does he send in super chats that skirt the line, but now he words them in such a way that you have to pause and think about it so that it's on there longer. I love it. Great job. Great job, Slade Wilson.
Good to have
and
you
welcome back.
Glad
you could make it today.
I liked his other face, though, better. Black Saber, member for 8 months. A Palpatine Valentine for you all. Roses are red. Red violets are blue. But it won't all matter because soon you'll call me Master. It's not really a Palpatine voice, but I wanted to at least get a little growly with it. Thank you very much, Black Saber.
But Metallica vibes at the end as well, I'll say.
Master of Puppets. Eclipse Warlord. I'm drilling out strip screws Tuesdays.
Well, enjoy those strip screws. And if anybody's ever had a failed project with carpentry, you know the feeling of trying to get those screws back out of whatever they're in. It's a pain in the butt.
Try an oversized flathead. May work. You never know.
Go for it.
It's a good tip. YK Penguin for $5. Sorry, Jonas, but I like Pro's ladies and gentlemen voice more. Nice new intro, especially the culture dance. I am not offended. Thank you very much.
You do the Jonas. You do so. Let me explain this. There's two different vibes to this. So when I did the intro originally last year, I did the Saturday Night Live voice. So I did the ladies and gentlemen. I did that thing.
Pardo, right?
Yeah, you did. What's the name of the gentleman who says, "Let's get ready to rumble"?
Oh, Michael
Buffer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did the Michael. Can you give us a Michael Buffer intro?
Love that voice.
Ladies and gentlemen, where am I? So, voice, nice new intro, especially the culture dance. Yeah, that's
well played, sir.
That's been
For
one I've
the
been
thousands in attendance and the millions watching on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen.
And we are rising in numbers right now in the audience. Folks, make sure you like, share, and subscribe this. Well, don't subscribe this out there, but like and share. Put it out there on your favorite social medias.
And speaking of which, congratulations on 60K, Pro. My goodness.
Thank you. We will be doing a 60K subscriber celebration this Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern, as well as a member-exclusive pre-show. The Pro Show pre-show comes back this Thursday. Probably start that about 4 p.m. Jonas, you also have a 10K celebration coming up for that Park Place.
Yes,
and,
that's right. We're doing that on Friday at 10 p.m. And of course, Loki, Lorena, y'all are invited. I haven't quite got on it yet because the news has been coming hot and heavy here. But yeah, would love it if you guys could drop by. I do realize it's late on a Friday night. So,
and Jonas, you'll be doing something with memberships as well, I hear.
Yes, I will. I'm working on that.
Memberships coming to that Park Place, folks. So very exciting.
We're hard at work. We're unlike the Disney Company. We've got to put something together here and get it out. And we're actually actively working on putting it together. So but I do want to say, guys, don't be a no-show to the Pro Show pre-show when that happens. Get your memberships. Speaking of which, Dustin Sensenig gifted 10 WDW Pro memberships. Get them while they're hot, folks.
Wow, look at that. So kind. Thank you, Dustin. Let's start the party right.
Perfect. And speaking of which, JL for $10. When will Disney be held accountable? How many mistakes do you have to do until it bites you in the butt? I am tired of people getting away with BS. This has blood on their hands, but we are the enemy. Hashtag pro knows. Yeah.
Well, I would think that when it comes to priorities, when we see Bob Iger come out, and this is the second video they've released, we'll talk about this in just a little bit as well, folks. When Iger comes out and puts out a statement regarding, how you should vote on the proxy battle and touts their accomplishments, okay, whatever. But could we at least not put people's lives in danger as a higher priority? Could we get that fixed first? That's what I would say.
Yep.
Seems bare minimum.
Oh, and thank you very much for the super chat and of course the message. HB Yoshi 26 for $20. That is a very generous super chat. Can we call them fancy sources of yours and get some info on the Zelda movie? I've been waiting my whole life for this, and if they're going to blow it like sailors check on shore leave, I need to know as soon as possible.
Well, HB Yoshi, for $20, how about I say this? It's not a movie. I think there might be more than a movie, if you get my drift. We can't talk about that yet. Got to work with some sources, but I think we probably shouldn't discuss it in the singular any longer.
That is interesting.
Jonas didn't know that.
No, I did not know that.
A few times when Jonas
what I'm
doesn't.
waiting for.
All right. Slade Wilson, the return man, for $5. Madam Webb, this is what happens when you have too many modern feminist video jockeys involved in a movie. It stinks. Hi, Jonas. Hey,
yes, and later in the show, we're going to talk about this a little bit, but from the perspective of how the media is covering it, because the media seems intent on protecting it at the same time they slam it. So the media is really confused right now. They're thrown off a bit by how to handle this thing.
Are they not, though? I mean, it's like, oh, this guy's senile and can't go to trial. Oh, well, he can do other stuff, but
yeah. Exactly.
Are they not confused?
That's a very good point. And now, Madam Webb, I actually forgot that this one was coming out. I keep forgetting that it's coming out, and later this evening, I'm sure I will remember again that I forgot that this movie is coming out. So, best of luck.
I didn't forget it was coming out because I'm going to see it because I'm a glutton for punishment, and I'd rather fall on that grenade and tell you guys about it. And you can enjoy my pain, which a lot of people seem to really enjoy with films like this.
Well, like a kick in the crotch, I too will be going to watch this and give a review. And who knows? Maybe in my review, I'll put a pain meter on the right side of the screen, and it can just keep increasing as we finish out that review. I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe everybody is wrong, and I will be right. Who knows?
Well, I heard they've already got an end credit scene for the next movie. They're already going to go to work on the sequel. It's 50 Shades of Madam Web. Who knew?
That would probably be a better movie. Sutton Creek Productions for $2 Canadian. Congratulations on 60K subs, bro. Yeah, man. Congratulations. And thank you very much for the super chat, Sutton Creek.
Thank you. And I see we've got another super chat here coming in, and then we're going to get started with our first topic. But thank you, Sutton Creek Productions. Very kind.
More than one. Colin Tracy for 5. I find it funny they were quicker to cut the Gina Carano episode with Bear Grylls than they are to address retrograde. Yeah, absolutely.
I had not thought of that comparison. I really, really appreciate you making that comparison because that needed to be said, and it had not come across my mind yet.
And that by the way, that Bear Grylls aspect that shows that this is a company-wide issue more than a Kathleen Kennedy issue. If National Geographic is the one to quickly get rid of Gina Carano and refuse to blur faces in retrograde. So
I had not thought of that. That is a tremendous super chat, and it's a big assist to this channel because that needed to be brought up. They rushed as fast as they could to scrub Gina Carano and damage her and take her stuff off, and they didn't even want to put the episode out there. They finally acquiesced, but then they removed any reference to Gina Carano. And yet we are now this retrograde thing has been out there. My understanding is since 2022.
Yep.
I don't know how long it's been streaming on Disney Plus. It's still streaming on Disney Plus, but there's been congressional testimony in the last week. Days and days later, we still haven't blurred the faces. And, it's not just these people whose lives are at stake. It's their relatives. And it's not just that their lives are at stake, which is bad enough, right? That's bad enough. If I told you your life is at stake, bad enough, eh? But it's that on top of that, the end of their life will be horrific and terrible and the kind of thing of nightmares. And
at the hands of horrible people.
That shows the difference, I think, in this company's priorities. I don't see any way around it. They need to fix it now.
Elon Musk said something about that. Packing Protons, games and animation for $5 more than a movie. Can it be the return of, excuse me, princess? I got to say,
what a great meme.
Love that Legend of Zelda cartoon where the Triforce is somehow in 2 parts. You can miss the lore and still have a good show if it's fun. Interested American member for
takes a special kind of incompetent though to go Triforce. Let's make it 2 parts.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Interested American member for 3 months. You guys watch bad movies, so we don't have to. Thanks.
Yes.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome.
Coyote Trickster for $10. I salute you two for jumping on that grenade. Well, if we're talking about the retrograde situation, we just talked about it. We weren't the people who put our lives at risk. Thank you for the super chat, of course. But
we didn't go in front of Congress like these other individuals did and give the testimony that was so necessary. We are just a conduit for something being done. And that's what needs to happen. We don't need any accolades. We don't need anything. We just need this to be fixed.
Slade Wilson, the return man for $5. Do you think any of these characters can use web powers to address their feminine needs? Well, I mean, if the covers aren't enough at night, I suppose you could turn the light off without having to get out of bed. Really, this might help their husbands more, so their husbands don't have to fix the thermostat or turn off the lights or things like that. So I'm assuming that's what you're talking about there.
Lorena has that look that says that Pro's joke that he thought about making just might not work. Thank you, Lorena, for having that face that says, you know what?
Welcome.
Let it go, Pro. Let it go.
Sorry, that was my producer face.
It's all good.
Counsel.
Let it go.
Sometimes works and sometimes doesn't.
Lorena, when I saw the way you were approaching that, I thought the hundreds of women who are watching right now are probably having that same thought of Pro. Shut up. Don't go there, Pro. You know what else you shouldn't go to? Not having a show without Culture Casino.
There he is,
folks.
Good
Welcome
morning,
aboard,
everybody.
sir. Happy to have you back.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm just doing my producer duties for the next show I've got. So,
Hey,
yeah,
yes, where we'll be redirecting.
I'm happy. I'm happy to be here and just comment on the Madam Web flop. Are we going to talk about that?
We sure are. We're gonna talk about the media's coverage of the Madam Web flop. Because
before we
don't
do
know
that,
what to do with
though,
this.
let me point out that Patrick Musin became a YouTube member at the profound level. Thank you very much. Welcome aboard.
Welcome. Happy to have you.
Pro, we got one more super chat. It's probably not going up on screen though. Slade Wilson, the return man. How painful do you think the combined size of Iger, Musk, and Carano will be? Enough to have all the Disney C-level executives need multiple showers a day and reconstructive surgery and the reaming that is coming. Team Sandpaper.
There you go. That was brilliant rewording. Speaking of brilliant, folks, quick reminder, I hate to be a producer. I'm going to do what Lorena did. What's amazing right now is on Super Chats, especially ones you think are funny, like especially things that Slade Wilson writes. You can actually put a thumbs up on Super Chats now, folks. So in the chat, you can definitely drop the thumbs up.
Oh, no, Slade will be the thumbs up king around here.
I know.
I'm so glad you're here, Culture.
Slade has discovered a new superpower, and Culture has started the origin story of it. Wow.
An unemployed Bob Iger for $5. If you think Madam Web is bad, just wait until Inside Out 2.
Another grenade I'm falling on.
I'll be falling on it too. So hey, I feel your pain.
At least they're happy they have anxiety about it. All right,
I like to go see good movies.
That would be a good thing.
Okay.
You know, that's why it was so important in the intro today, in this new intro we've got for the channel. So important that after we get through mocking some of this stuff, that we started putting the movies that you love out there. So references to Top Gun and to Pirates and to Godzilla -1 and so much stuff, you know, that's so awesome. We want to get back to that. So let's do that. All right, well, let's get to our very first topic today, and we will be getting more of your super chats. Again, don't forget what Culture has just told us that I'm seeing, which is that when those super chats hit the live chat, folks, you can give a thumbs up to them. But it's time now to begin, and begin we shall with this story. Well, hang on a second. We're getting blocked by the website, but we'll get there. We are going to be talking about Super Bowl ads today, and let's see if it'll pull up now. And we're going to have to turn off the ad blocker. Oh boy, here we go.
Well, maybe I should read some more super chats.
No. All right, here we go. So this is out of CBS News, and the way we're going to approach this, folks, is everybody's going to have their own opinions about what was the best and worst Super Bowl commercials. That's really not as important to us as the financial side of this. And what do we mean? Well, we're talking about the efficiency, the efficacy of these ads, which companies did well and which ones did not do well in terms of getting people to talk about their stuff. Now, this one that we're looking at CBS News, it's judging it based on vote tallies. Now, we could run through these, and we may briefly, you know, they say Google had the best, then this other Sarabi or whatever it is, Dunkin' Donuts, Reese's, State Farm. I did like the State Farm one. I like the reference to twins again. They said Volkswagen. I found it kind of not as good as others. Doritos, I thought that was strong. You get the idea. It's just going through all of these. Now, and I will say that Dove seems to have blown up in their faces. So I never really look at these when you have these votes, because I never know who are the voters, and I don't know how the voters were selected. But we can look here at their tier list they have.
I think that Dove ad got 81 million votes, though.
Well, and perhaps that's worthwhile. The issue with Dove is that when I go and I look at the responses that Dove gets, the responses to the Dove ad are filled with issues of women's sports, if you know what I mean. And so I don't know if that's a win for them or not. It might be, and there's room for conversation about that. But I want to point us down here at the lower part of this tier list. Okay, so we've got the A's, we've got the B's. Okay, everybody can see what's in there. Then in the C list, this is, by the way, we said that Disney had one of the worst Super Bowl ads we've ever seen. Maybe the worst on a technical standpoint and a financial standpoint. They've got them listed in the C tier, which I think is interesting. And then if we go all the way down to the bottom, we've got the D list, which is Bass Pro Shop, Snap, Progressive, Drumstick, CrowdStrike. He gets us Homes.com, FanDuel, Temu, Squarespace, and American Values 2024.
Can I bring up something real quick about Homes.com? If
Absolutely.
you go to the video on their website, this is absolutely amazing because we were talking about them the other day. If you go to the video on YouTube channel, they have, I think, like 3,000 subscribers. It's got 1.1 million views, at least it did yesterday. It's got 24 likes, and it has one comment.
Okay, so that would definitely go to fail.
Sound a little suspicious that it's got over 1 million views, but only 24 likes and one comment.
So, Loki, are you suggesting that perhaps those comments have been disabled-fied?
I don't think they've been disabled at all. I think someone's been manipulating the algorithm just a tad.
I see.
I think somebody paid for views but forgot to pay for likes and comments.
Unleash the bots. We're just having fun, folks. We're not alleging that as an absolute statement of fact.
No,
just a thought. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I want to go though to the Disney issue. And Jonas, if you could pull up for us, I hate to do this for you, folks. Before the show, we had a computer crash and it's thrown us off a little bit. Jonas, can you get from our back channels the image of the Disney billboard that was posted? Can you pull that up on screen in just a moment? It's the Disney billboard where it shows that they're continuing with this ad campaign. And
yes,
so
I might have to censor it, but I'll get it for you.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. So some of these ads, we would say, did well. Some of them did poorly. But I would suggest that, for example, when we're looking at some of these ads like State Farm, okay? State Farm to me seems like a win-win. I don't see a negative to this. Everybody's happy with it. It got a ton of talk because it put Arnold back together with DeVito. I don't see a negative here. Whereas some of the ads, they also introduced some kind of negativity into it or some kind of divisiveness. Panel, what were your favorite and disliked Super Bowl ads if you had the chance to watch them?
Well, I know for me personally, my favorite, it was a trailer, not necessarily an ad, but was for Deadpool, the new Deadpool movie.
Yes, and that we actually compared that to the Disney Plus ad, and the Deadpool trailer looks like it picked up over 100 million views across all of the different YouTube channels and viewership on the Super Bowl. So when you talk about return on investment, you pay $7 million for putting that trailer out there and you get 100 million views back. That's fantastic. When we're talking about, what was it, house.com or whatever this is?
Yeah.
It gets like 1 million. Very poor ROI.
Interesting to add to that, Pro, because not only are they getting votes on YouTube, but look at the activity on Twitter when the trailers dropped. And not only that, but you had Ryan Reynolds, tweeting about it. You had Hugh Jackman with these comebacks, going on. So you have like this whole, pinging that's going on in Twitter for that particular trailer. And I just laughed my ass off because it was just so funny, at least to me, and it seems to a lot of people it was funny, as compared to, and you said the worst one, that would definitely be Disney.
Would you? Yeah, you would agree that I think Ryan Reynolds is probably one of the best marketers of all time. He's been able to get the film Deadpool made in the first place just because of his brute force activity. I mean, if you all know the story behind that, he's the whole reason we got Deadpool in the first place. And he's brilliant because he will do like these little short films and stuff to promote his projects, right? I mean, whatever the name of the rock guy was that was from, what was that terrible? Thor Ragnarok. Yeah. So yeah, that's the name. Thank you, Jonas. But anyway, he is able to do these things so subtly, and obviously he had the forethought, Lorena, and I'm sure you suspect this, to work with Hugh Jackman so that they could coordinate that campaign to promote this film. Because I don't think that was done by Disney. They don't have creatives. Ryan Reynolds a creative, so it's a little different.
Well, if we want an example of the kind of creativity that we can expect from the Walt Disney Company's ad campaigns, here's a fantastic billboard.
Oh Lord!
So So that ad that they slapped together and put on the Super Bowl, it was actually part of a larger campaign. Apparently, I thought that was they bought too many ads and they just threw something together in an hour to put up there. No, apparently that took a lot of forethought, enough for them to put up a billboard.
And again, let's go back to why this fails so hard. Disney Plus is a streaming service directed at families, and that means that you want kids to see your advertisements and say, mommy, I want Disney Plus. Your 5-year-old, your 6-year-old is going to have a hard time sitting in the car, riding by and going, oh, that's Disney. No, just put the picture of the characters up.
No, kids love carrier font.
Could you imagine being in the boardroom, right? And this person, you pay an enormous amount of money, like $50 million a year, let's say, they pay this person to come up with ad campaigns and slogans. And they're like, all right, is everybody ready for the Super Bowl? Whoosh. And it's that. I'd be sitting there and I'd be like, you're fired. Get out. Out. Get out. Get out of this office right now. Out. Don't go out the door. Go out the window. Out. That is lazy.
You know what, Loki? Because you came to the Orlando area.
Oh yeah.
To visit. There, you cannot swing a dead cat around Orlando without hitting all of these Disney billboards, and we're talking splashy colors, catchy slogans. Even their Disney store that they have. It's like this big, huge 2-panel LED screen that just constantly runs, animations that are going on. And this is what they come up with for the Super Bowl. You know what this tells me? They do not care. It's like, we don't have to sell Disney. That's the attitude. They do not.
Who came
have
up with
to
this,
sell
Lorena?
Disney.
Who came up with the idea of black text on white background and got paid millions for it? This is the work of a 5th grader. And that's offensive to 5th graders.
It's lazy.
5th graders who have a TikTok would do a heck of a lot better than this. They would be embarrassed about this. Don't even
compare this to the Chick-fil-A campaigns, right? The Chick-fil-A things where they'll pay to have the cows up there and the cows put something like, that's how you do a clever text billboard, right? That's a specifically text.
I mean, I personally am kind of tired of the dyslexic cows myself, but yes, it was clever when they came up with it. This reminds me of The Office.
Now I know who's been vandalizing the Chick-fil-A billboards, folks. Jonas will be appearing soon in the news.
Imagine the evil stepmother, the sisters on one side, and they're like, rah, like they're gonna go after Cinderella, and then you've got the fairy godmother with the wand and the magic coming out of it, and you got Cinderella like spinning in the dress on the other side of the billboard. Boom! You've got like they're coming off the billboard where they take the characters and bring them off the top of the billboard, and you've got something that kids are gonna be like, the fairy godmother, not. Well, that's boring. That's what that is. That's boring. That's just okay. I'm on my DOS spreadsheet from 1992, and I'm like bippity boppity boop, print on my stupid printer, on my old school printer with a dot matrix printer.
Matrix? Oh yes. My gosh.
So that's what that is. What year are we in?
I don't know what character it is on the keyboard that's a solid block, but I remember putting those down on dot matrix printers just to drive somebody nuts.
Oh my
A full page of nothing but ink. Those were the days. Or just periods all the way across. So it just did. Those were the days.
Right.
My favorite was, of course, tearing off that feeder stuff on the edge. But that being said, looking at this is obviously an attempt at minimalism, but it's not evocative minimalism. It's just minimalism. Courier is not impressive. This doesn't look sleek. This doesn't look elegant. This does not evoke Cinderella. What they've essentially said is, here's a list of properties that we now hold the rights to that you used to like before you disliked us. This entire campaign to me is just lazy. And as I've said in other places, that the most definitive line at the end is copyright 2024 Disney and its related entities. This is the dilution of the Disney brand. This is making them essentially on the same level as Embracer Group and Comcast and any other giant corporation that happens to hold the rights to a bunch of IPs. Disney itself is just a legal entity at this point to me.
Well, just to kind of add to that, just with it being minimal, it shows that there isn't that creativity and love for the property. Like I look at this and I think, how much cooler would it have been that you have a writer's room, but the writer's room are the Disney characters themselves, and you see the fairy godmother. What kind of catchphrase do I come up with? Oh, I know. I'll do this. Bibbity bobbity boo. Hey,
I
Mickey,
love that.
Minnie, what do you think it is? I like. That's the part that's missing. That magical piece is missing. I don't care what these words mean. They mean nothing to me, but you associate them with the image of the fairy godmother and the Disney lore mythos, and that's how you tap into the magic. But if you actually cared about the property that you had, you would do something like that.
So let's do something fun here for a moment. Jonas, in the video we did on the commercial, because again, we think this is probably I think it's the worst Super Bowl commercial in history because it's just boring and it can be done in no time. You said that Super Bowl commercial, you could have done that in 1 hour, and you meant that. You really meant it.
Are you about to ask me to do this commercial while we're doing
No.
our version of it? While the
that would be a lot of fun, and
going?
I would love to put you on the spot that way. Slade would have the best day of his life. But Jonas, how long would it take you to make this billboard, sir?
It's done. I just finished it.
Cost cutting achieved. That's what this is about, in my estimation. Disney is trying to get to profitability across everything. I bet the Disney Plus advertisings come out of the Disney Plus ledger. And how do you make it cheap? You don't pay for anything other than blank text on a white background. That's how we make the investors happy, I suppose. Any thoughts on that before we wrap up?
Yeah. By the way, that was only because I already had Photoshop open on my machine, of course.
You don't have to cost cut if you're making quality stuff that people are buying and that people are invested in and that has characters that people love. You don't have to cost cut. If you've got shows people are watching, if you've got movies people are going to go see, if you've got the magic, everybody knows about the magic of Disney from the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. That's all you need is that magic pack, but they don't have anybody that cares that's going to invest the time and dedication it does to make that stuff. They just want, it has to be new, it has to be fast, and we've got to put it on Disney Plus afterwards.
Okay, watch this, Loki. I'm going to beat that I haven't put any thought into this. I'm going to beat the advertising campaign in 10 seconds. Get rid of what they did during the Super Bowl. Put out the Moana preview trailer that's a bunch of bunk. It's not even from the movie. It's just put the Moana thing out that's like 10 seconds. Fade to dark blue. Bring up in the Disney font. The magic is back. Disney Plus logo comes on. We're out.
Yep.
Good? Everybody happy? All right, well played.
Maybe put a little bit of music on there.
Oh yeah, you're gonna put the Moana. You're gonna put the Moana. We can't do it on here because of the copyright, but put the Moana background sound on there and roll with it. There you go.
Pro, are we about ready to move on? Because we got a lot of super chats, and we have got someone exciting who is not involved in a cost-cutting creative endeavor.
We do, and we're gonna be talking about cost cutting on the other side of these super chats, folks. So hang tight. It's an industry redefining story you can't miss. But yes, let's introduce our next guest coming on with us right now.
Who could that be? Let's go see, boys and girls.
And it's Andrew.
Great. What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Good. So glad to have you here, Andrew. It's been too long, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Always appreciate hanging out with you beautiful people and culture.
How are things over at the Rippaverse right now? I got that one.
Things over at the Rippaverse are fantastic. No, Culture, you're awesome. Your beard's even better.
Oh, thank you, sir. I hope you're doing well.
I am doing fantastic.
All right, Jonas. Well, let's get to these super chats.
OCDD 93 at for $4.99. RGR Bob replied to Legal on X about Nat Geo thing. Not quite just Disney at fault from what he says. Disney holds the rights. National Geographic holds the rights. I have to wonder if the director of the film, I haven't seen the tweet, but I have to wonder if the director of the film documentary, I should say, insisted on having it presented a certain way.
So there is the possibility that the DoD or some other entity made what I would think is a major mistake and did not blur these faces. It may not be the fault of Disney and National Geographic, but at the same time, if this is reality, and that's what was testified in front of Congress, if this is a reality that those faces are not blurred and people's lives are in danger and have been put to an end because of it, then it needs to come off Disney Plus because it's a danger to people's lives. So somebody out there needs to take some degree of accountability, even if there's not culpability. And again, we've said in the video, we're not blaming anyone at this point because this is something that needs to be resolved to protect people. So somebody somewhere needs to take this down until this gets resolved in our estimation. Is that fair, Jonas? I think we've lost Jonas. Culture sound good to you?
Sorry, yeah, I had a little delay there. Forgive me.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah, no, I think Disney should have already stepped up to the plate and pulled it down already, and then gone through the extra effort of, I don't know, maybe an hour with somebody like Jonas editing it to, blur out the faces.
I can't imagine a scenario where they're not allowed to blur the faces, but if that's the case, if we can take down Willow, then we can take down something that is putting people in danger.
Yeah, I mean, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Nice dodgeball reference. Well played.
All right,
well played,
is my audio back?
You're good now, Jonas.
Yes.
You're good.
Yes, it's back.
All right. Sorry about that. Alex Bielaski for $2. I'm guessing Zelda versus Frozen 3 in 2026. Hashtag Frolda. That sounds like ice cream equivalent product there to me. Perfect.
I won't
DCB
confirm that,
Titan.
but I will say that Disney should probably be very wary, and I think they are, of the NCU.
Yeah, and Link would just need the blue tunic in order to fight off the cold, or maybe something with a little bit of cold resistance if we're going by the Breath of the Wild rules there. DZV Titan for $5 Canadian. Actually, the old Zelda cartoon had 3 pieces of the Triforce. Third piece was in Link's heart, as per lore. See, I never stuck around week after week on every Friday that the Super Mario Brothers Super Show was replaced with with exciting scenes from the next Legend of Zelda, as it were. So here I am, not understanding that it was the friends we made along the way. Thank you, DCB
All I can say is when he goes to his cardiologist, you talk about a shock. That is going to be, when they look and go, what the heck?
Kagemusha?
Oh, damayo.
Good Lord!
I just wanted him to say good Lord to the idea of the cardiologist. It has nothing to do with anything except I just wanted the good Lord.
Well, Link ends up in a cave, of course, and then a friendly old Afghan scientist puts a little arc reactor in his chest to keep the Triforce from
Wait a
migrating
minute.
to Mars.
That's a really
I've
good
seen
plot.
Yeah, a tipping barn for $5 surreptitiously slides you $5. What kind of inside scoop can I get for this? Happy 60K, by the way.
You can get a foreshadowing of the new Splash Mountain being leaked on this show in about 45 minutes, I would say. We're going to get there, and we'll have that ready to go. And as a way of saying thank you,
God dang it, from the bottom of our hearts here on the WDW Pro channel, thank you.
Yep.
There we go.
Thank you. And change your voice for $2. That was due today. Inept Disney employee 9873.
We were going to use Comic Sans. Quick to courier.
They could be like me and thought the Super Bowl was 1 week later, but here we are. Is this live for $20? Thank you very much. This Disney commercial looks like something that I would have made back in the day on PowerPoint after partying all weekend, then realizing at 7 a.m. that the assignment I had 2 months to do had a deadline 1 hour away. Oh man, is this live? We would have gotten along famously.
And,
oh yeah, who did that in college? Who didn't do that in college?
Exactly. And I have to say, you know, the problem for Disney is that no one is talking about this except for us because we're laughing at it. But it's not controversial. There's no buzz at all. It's just crickets, Jiminy crickets. Very bad, very bad.
Jiminy Cricket would be exciting and endearing and adorable.
If only they owned him, they could have put him on a commercial.
But here's the thing. I think Disney has been ignoring their internal Jiminy Crickets for a very long time.
Hang on a second, folks. I'm getting word. We have a clip from when the Super Bowl officials, from when the NFL and CBS received the Disney ad, their reaction to it once it was handed off to them by Bob Iger. Let's go down to that exclusive clip.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
Sounds about right. That's right.
Penguin Gumbo, toilet paper for $2. It's a blank super chat. It says message retracted, but it has 11 likes. So you said something very insightful there, I'm sure.
Penguin, if you want to put it back up there, just send it our way. And mods, if you wouldn't mind, send that to our attention and we'll get it up if there was a mistake. Also want to say a huge thank you to our mods, to our wrenches out there for making the show today possible. Without them, things would go to Slade. No.
Of course, I need to point out that we're being watched. Mexican Iron Man for $5. This is a great panel, great discussion. In my opinion, Wicked is going to be a train wreck, and I am sick of sympathetic villains and lame heroes. Yeah, there's no good hero in that movie or that Broadway play. And Wicked was really the protogenitor of a lot of dumb movies where they try to do the sympathetic villain. That Babylon Bee article come to life of Disney does the queen, the alien queen, as a sympathetic hero. Yeah,
but I have to say now, the Broadway musical Wicked, I think it's good. I think it's a very good Broadway execution. And you know, I'm not rooting against the movie. I just have my worries about the movie, but I'm not rooting against it. Listen. If anyone wants to know what my modus operandi is this year for movies and why I'm not hoping for movies to fail, it's because we're at the edge. We're at the precipice of theaters going under. We can't. The theater industry is going to collapse if it doesn't get something. When Madam Web fails as it is going to, that is another month of theaters not making any money. And we would like to have the option of going to theaters in 2026, and that's
These
rapidly.
Theaters are all holding out hope for Deadpool 3 to generate a lot of chatter.
Deadpool 3
they're
could.
all like
Moana
this.
2 could.
They've got their
Despicable
fingers
Me
and toes
4
all
will.
crossed.
Yes.
Didn't they just do this though?
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say, I
go
really
ahead.
do have a lot of high hopes for Wicked. I'm not a musical person whatsoever. I got guilt tripped into taking someone to go see Wicked, and I fell asleep like 20 minutes into it. Woke up when the dragon came out. I will say, quality wise, Wicked is a gorgeous musical. It is. So if they are able to bring that same energy from that Broadway show, from that Broadway musical into the movie, it will do well. And I will say, I've heard some people saying that, oh, they race swapped the witch. Okay, let me put this out here. The reason that Elphaba was green was to show how much of an outcast she was. So it doesn't matter who is playing that role, so long as they are green, because that's the physical manifestation of why she was so outcast. So I really want people to focus on that, because it's about it's about the green paint, it's about the green makeup, not who the actress is or the race
Right.
of who it is behind that. So,
And Lorena, we're going to talk about that
keep in
topic
mind.
later on, but I don't think you're going to be here when we get to that topic.
No,
So-
I gotta go.
So let me throw this at you though, while we've got you here, because I'm very curious your thought on this. My worry about Wicked is that they, not the audience, although the audience has had this happen so many times that you can understand the reaction. But my worry is that the people behind the movie are going to insert this so that she's not green skin, but that the green skin is just there as an addition to a racial issue. And I'm worried that if we put modern racial issues into Wicked, that it dilutes the story and the moral of it, in a way that confuses what it was all about. What do you think about that?
I think that if they decide to push this as the race of the actress is more important than the character she's supposed to be playing, this movie is going to fail. People are getting sick and tired of race politics. So if you keep it of the fact that it's the actress just happens to be Black, but you know what? It's about the green character. It's about what she's supposed to look like. She's supposed to be, the Wicked Witch of the West. They focus on that. If they focus on what made the musical such a smash hit in the first place, especially with Elphaba, they'll win. But if they start playing race politics with this, people are going to say, "Screw it! I'm not interested." And thank you for ruining a wonderful, amazing musical for me.
So let's do a comparison, because this actually, we already know this is reality in terms of what you're describing, right? There's two ways they can go with this. So we know this reality already exists, and I'll prove it. So years and years ago, Disney put Brandy in as Cinderella.
Yes.
But she just played Cinderella. Now, she's of African descent, but she just played Cinderella. And there was no outrage. Nobody cared, other than they were like, "Oh, cool, Brandy. She's great."
My white ass loved that movie.
Decades later, they come out with The Little Mermaid, and they cast Halle Bailey. They make it all about race, and people respond in a negative way. So we've had both scenarios presented to us, both with Disney princesses, and we've seen the different reaction to those different ideas. Now with this one, it's going to go one way or the other, right? So if they make it all about race as they lead into the marketing, and if the movie inserts modern racial issues into this story, then I think we'll have a negative reaction. If she's in there because she's the best, she was the best they could get for Elphaba, then people are going to love it because she was the best, and they're going to love the casting. It can go either way, I think, at this point. Anyone disagree?
Well, I think there needs to be some qualification added to the best, because I think, just as Lorena was saying, it's not about the actress's race here. That's not important, because the character is supposed to be green, right? That's the visual thing we're supposed to hone in on, right? Not about what's under the makeup. That's irrelevant. So she can absolutely be the best person, and if she knocks it out of the park with that performance, more power to her. Awesome. Hopefully they don't do some dumb crap with this film, because as somebody who comes from musical theater, I would really like to see this done very well. Jeff Goldblum being cast as the wizard was all I needed to be at least interested, because he's one of my all-time favorite actors. But best person for the roles.
Agree with you.
Best person for the role, however, doesn't just blanket apply like that. It certainly can work here, but in a lot of other instances, when you're talking about characters that are being adapted from page to screen, they already have an established look. They already have an established characterization, right? Best person for the job is the person who both looks and can play the part. It's not just, oh, well, this person was easy. This person's a complete different race. Doesn't matter if it's a black to white, white to black, whatever swap it is, or shoot, Asian to Celtic, like what they did in Doctor Strange with the Ancient One. Best person for the job actually does mean they need to be the character. Characters have established looks, so I want that to be established, because I don't buy into this best person for the job when there are numerous people in Hollywood vying to get these roles, and you're telling me you just happen to go with the person that looks absolutely nothing like the character in question, and you're calling them the best. They might have had a fantastic audition, sure, but if somebody else also had a good audition and they actually look the part and can play the part, if you're doing a service to fans, then you cast the person that resembles the character.
Now, the only exception, and I'll push back just a little bit, the only exception I would say to that is that when we look back at the proportion of legacy characters who are of different backgrounds, ethnicities, etc., that's going to skew heavily towards one demographic. Now, that would be one thing if we were creating brand new characters that were exciting. But Hollywood has failed us there as well. And so we're not creating new, exciting characters and new demographics. And so then that creates a very interesting situation where I think that you come into places where, for example, Samuel L. Jackson cast as Nick Fury. I think that works. And I also think that when he was cast as Nick Fury, he was cast in such a way that it wasn't about race. It was about, oh, Samuel L. Jackson, he's bad action. Yeah, put him in. 100%. We'll go along with this.
He's also Nick Fury Jr.
Right. When you do that with characters and then you make it be about, hey, we've broken the glass ceiling for the 57th time, I think people get tired of that, where they're like, you're awarding yourselves social justice trophies that you didn't earn. You haven't done anything fantastic here. So
if I can also throw one thing in here from the lore, I do believe that Elphaba is biracial if Jeff Goldblum is her father. Forgive me for the spoiler alert.
Wait a minute. What are you talking? Are you saying the Wiz is her dad?
I think there's pretty strong implications in that musical that the wizard was drinking some unusual green beverage.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be quiet now.
Spoiler alert. All right. Well, we do have a major spoiler, and that is that Lorena, you have to go. And we're so sad that you have to leave. We love having you on the channel. We love having you be a part of the program, and we're better for it. Lorena, tell folks where they can find you on this great, big, beautiful web out there.
Well, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on the Twix, X, whatever, the thing Elon owns now. And of course, you can find me on YouTube for various videos and live streams for spicy pop culture and sci-fi analysis and keeping it real when it comes to theme parks with live streams and videos from the theme parks. As for what I have going on, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, of course, is the Spice Lounge show, my pop culture show. Culture will be on the show, as well as Views with Hughes will be there. Special guest Michelle of Force of Light Entertainment is also going to be on the show. We're going to be talking about that Deadpool 3 trailer and is Deadpool going to save the MCU? And also talking about the early reviews of Madam Web. So lots to chew up and mix up tomorrow on my show. And as always, thank you so much for having me here. Pro, wish I could stay longer, but the IT salt mine calls me.
That's right. It's better than some of these other salt mines or salt domes that are coming up all over Florida. So Lorena, take care, and thank you so much. Folks, make sure you subscribe to Lorena Creole.
Thanks. Take care, guys.
All right, and as Lorena steps out, Jonas, we've got someone else stepping in.
Yes, sir. Pretty much the same as Lorena Creole. In fact, some people get them confused at times. The editor-in-chief of That Park Place, Mr. John F. Trent.
Hello. How's it going, guys?
Hello, John. And John, of course, you're doing the Trent Report now on YouTube. Folks, if you're not subscribed yet to the Trent Report, you're really missing out. And of course, if you're not bookmarked to thatparkplace.com, make sure that you do so. John, good day so far today?
Yeah, we're going well. We got a couple stories up already. Obviously, the Madam Web stuff is breaking right now with all the terrible reviews. And then earlier, I guess it was last week, we had the Box Office Pro significantly downgraded their projections for the film from their original projections, almost $10 million decrease on both the low end and the high end for the opening weekend. And then if you look at their total domestic, it dropped over 20 million on the high end from like 100 million to just shy of 80 million. So like 78. So huge decline there. And then obviously
I'm shocked, I tell you. I can't believe this is going the Marvel's route. Oh, wait. We'll get to that shortly, folks. But first, let's talk about Disney Animation and its big move to Canada. Here we go. This is out of Film Threat. And we're also going to have an article out of Breitbart that relates to this. This one is Disney opens new animation studio in Vancouver, BC. I've heard that's British Columbia, but it probably is a grave trade secret. Film Threat prophecy fulfilled. And this is by Film Threat staff. As a result of the series of D-Files, editor-in-chief Alan Ng made an ominous prediction that the entire animation industry is headed in two directions: overseas and artificial intelligence. The overseas component of that prophecy has just been fulfilled as Walt Disney Animation has opened a new studio in Vancouver, British Columbia, and their first significant feature animated film is Moana 2. The Vancouver studio has operated for over a year and a half. On the heels of Disney's announcement of Moana 2, the press release does not mention the new studio. Interestingly, the news comes by way of Walt Disney Animation Studios artistic director Malcolm Pierce's personal Instagram account. My, oh my, how we continue to find these things. Great job to Film Threat scooping this. I don't know who sent it their way, but watching closely, these creatives will tell you some things that would not be released in the corporate stuff otherwise. Here's what it says. A year and a half ago, we decided to embark on an incredible voyage. Voyage. Oh, those Canadians. Setting sail to Vancouver. Determined to build a second animation studio that can continue Walt Disney Animation Studios' incredible legacy. Our first project, Moana 2. We gathered the wonderfully talented Moana leadership team and began assembling the crew. In just 1 year, our team grew to over 100 strong as we began to bring these beloved characters to life. Today, we stand proud with a team of 400-plus artists, engineers, technicians embarking on our first theatrical release. The announcement of Moana 2 hit me harder than expected today, reminding me of the journey we've undertaken since setting sail past the reef. I couldn't be more proud of this studio and the extraordinary stories we'll bring to life. Now, what is this all about? Why does this matter? Why are we talking about it? Why should you be strapped to your seat listening? Well, because there's some stuff here that we need to parse out. Parcel number one. Didn't we just vote for unionization of Disney animators in Southern California, folks? Is that what happened, panel?
No, I believe it was the staff production workers. Disney Animation has been unionized since Three Caballeros.
So, but we had an additional unionization that would impact this film?
Yes, we did.
Is it also true that this was a TV show originally?
Yes, a very expensive TV show that they were definitely not going to make their return on investment for.
Is it also true that this is a TV show that is being directed by someone who has never had a film directing credit to his name?
I do affirm, yes.
And that this is now this is in Canada, so this will be this brand new studios. They're not even doing a first TV show. This is going to be their first movie, right?
Yes, those hosers are working on this.
So they'll get tax credit, right? They'll get tax credits for this.
We'll get a tax credit in Vancouver for sure.
So let's put all those pieces together, and then panel, it's yours. We're now talking. Okay, this was a big announcement by Bob Iger. Not made in the announcement is first time studio theatrical release, first time director. This was a TV show that in 6 months we're going to transform into a movie. We don't have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson signed yet to this thing. We're working on it. Do I need to keep going about all the ways? And on top of all of that, for Moana 2, consider this. This is the first time that Disney has outsourced in whole something like this. I mean, it was a big deal when Disney did this when they sent Lilo and Stitch to Florida.
Bro, I'm actually, we're going to be talking about this on That Park Place, but this is not the first time that they've outsourced
an entire movie.
Well, an entire movie, yes. But there are other things that have flown below the radar that Disney's trying to catch up some diversity points, while also
that's the African female artist, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll talk about
I'm
that
aware
more
of that.
another time, though.
Right. So what I would say is there are many things stacked against this film, but the reason that it's being done, in my estimation, is cost cutting, because this gets it out of the Disney Plus ledger. This was a TV show. Now it's a movie. Now it goes into the film ledgers for Disney. Now they can prove that profitability on Disney Plus even better, because they don't have to pay for this out of the Disney Plus funds. And at the same time, they get it out of the West Coast. And so all these folks who joined in protesting Bob Chapek, remember this? They all got out there and they walked on the concrete and they held up their signs. Get rid of Chapek. Bring back Iger. Disney's a terrible company. Iger came back. The mousy messiah arrived, and he sent all their jobs to Canada. That, to me, is impressive. Panel, your thoughts.
I think you're absolutely correct. I think this has to do with money. I think it has to do with cost cutting. Get the money, like you said, out of the Disney Plus coffers. Put it into the movie department. You no longer have to worry about that bringing Disney Plus down. They're doing everything possible to try and show profitability for Disney Plus. They just lost 1.3 million subscribers. They probably knew that was coming. They're waiting. They see this and they're like, just move it. Just get it off of Disney Plus. And it's going to be in Disney Plus anyway in what, 6 weeks? 6 weeks, if that, maybe 4. So a month to month and a half, it's going to hit Disney Plus anyway. So they get 2 birds with 1 stone. As long as they keep doing this, they're going to keep losing money. This was the dumbest idea for Disney, was to do this whole, we're going to compete with Netflix. We're going to compete with this. We're going to try and be the best at this. This is the dumbest move they have made, because it has caused them nothing but trouble since they started it and cost them money.
Loki, did you just say that Disney Plus is the thing that has tanked the Walt Disney Company?
I think this has been the biggest nail in Disney's in the future Disney's coffee.
I knew that we were brothers, Loki. I knew that we were brothers. Thank you very much.
Dude, no DVD sales, no Blu-ray sales,
Exactly.
no 4K sales. You've got all this property, and you could be like, the only way you can watch our stuff is if you buy it in the store. And
Right.
they could be making that money instead. Or you can go, you know what, Amazon, Netflix, we don't really like Netflix. So how about this? How about you give us like a $2-3 billion and we'll give you exclusives on our Disney stuff. No cost to Disney. They don't have to have servers. They don't have to have subscribers. They don't have to have people working behind the scenes to make it work. All they have to do is go, we'll loan you this collection of movies for $3 billion.
Bingo. You're dead right, Loki. The entire thing here is that the big secret is that Disney movies have maybe never really made money for the company. They're supposed to be basically an advertising arm for the parks and for the home physical media sales, and they would be an advertisement for Disney Plus if Disney Plus was ever profitable. Hulu right now, which does not have the Disney name attached to it, makes twice as much money as Disney Plus, despite the fact that they don't spend that much money to make that much money. You're 100% right on the money here. So the best way for them to say that Disney Plus is profitable is to stop making content for Disney Plus. They are $300 million short. They're $168 million short. They're going to stop producing stuff, or they're going to push it to another platform first, in this case, movies, where they have no accountability for how much these movies make. If you look at their financials, they have never line itemed out movies and how much they cost. It's always been, oh, movies and TV made this much, or movies and streaming made this much. They have never admitted to publicly how much their movies made, and more specifically, especially lately, how much their movies lost. Rise of Skywalker made more than $1 billion and did not make a profit. Force Awakens maybe didn't even make a profit at almost $2 billion. And Disney, if you want to disagree with me there, please produce financials that prove it. That movie cost more than $500 million to make. That is an irresponsible amount of money. Galaxy's Edge cost $2 billion across 2 parks to make, and you fashioned it after a movie that not standing that test of time so far. I know we're not 50 years later, but I don't think it's really hit the hearts of the fans the way that Luke Skywalker, a Jedi like his father before him, did. This entire Disney Plus endeavor here, they've robbed the parks. They've robbed their massive physical media market. You think of how Disney DVDs and Blu-rays used to retain their value when everyone else's on the secondary market would go down to $5. These things still sold, and in fact, I bet they're going to sell better as long as it's not the brand new stuff. They have essentially killed the entire company for Disney Plus here. What a travesty! And thank you, Loki, for bringing it up.
So we're gonna be coming back to the Disney Plus savings. I do want to say, Jonas, you brought up this point of them losing $168 million in the last quarter. Folks, that was the same quarter they couldn't make anything. They couldn't produce anything because of the strikes. They still lost $168 million. So I'm trying to figure out, they're talking about profitability. They're talking about cutting their content. How do you cut enough content that you beat out not having made any content. Like, I don't know how you get to that point, but they're going to try it. Culture, Andrew, I want to get your takes. John, you as well. Specifically on this, Moana is their most popular franchise, princess franchise, period. It's not even close. People talk about Frozen. They talk about Tangled. I'm here to tell you, we've looked at the metrics. Moana is by far and away the most popular thing they have. If you're going to do a Moana 2, you would think that they would put the A team behind that, because you're talking about the premier brand for girls that you have, flat out. And instead, they're rushing out from a brand new studio that doesn't have a movie to its name, under a brand new director who doesn't have a movie to his name, with a change in leadership, no Lin-Manuel Miranda. They're going to try and make it in 6 months, which is a Herculean task. These things usually take 3 years, and all of it seems to be to get that money out of Disney Plus. I think it's an error of astounding magnitude. What do you all think of this? I mean, am I wrong? Is this genius? Am I just missing something?
No, I think on paper, what the guys were saying earlier, with that, this is definitely a cost-cutting measure, an attempt at trying to divert those costs elsewhere and reduce them as well. That's absolutely, I think, the case here, because you're not with newbies that don't have the track record, they don't have the pedigree, they don't have the history and all that. You're not going to have to pay them as much. You don't have to pay somebody that you just hired for a job, the same amount as the person that's been there doing maybe that same job for a decade, right? So that's part of it. I think this is a massive error in judgment, though, at the end of the day, because Disney's had a real problem with harming their own brand and shooting themselves in the foot and shooting themselves in their own face persistently throughout every single one of their brands. And it'd be really, really pathetic to see them do it with one of their princess brands, especially one on the level of popularity of Moana. You were talking earlier, Pro, about how popular it was. That first one did something to the tune of, like, what was it, like 690, almost 700 million gross at the box office on a 150 million budget. So that movie
and then exploded in everything secondary. That movie exploded post box office.
It was incredibly popular. I loved that movie, and I was like, wow, this was like one of Disney's last really great newer properties. So I don't know why you wouldn't double down and capitalize on that in a very profitable and positive way. You wouldn't have to, look, we certainly want these people to put effort behind things, but there are certain things that's like, you really don't have to try too hard for something to be not just digestible, but enjoyable by people. It was like when Disney bought Star Wars, right? It was like, you really didn't have to do much. You just had to kind of keep doing what was already working, but you decided to stick your fingers and your toes and whatever else inside there, and you messed it up and mucked it up. You could have just kept doing the same thing that was working for years. That's all they had to do with this as well. Rinse and repeat, change the story to make it work as a sequel, right? And make sure you have The Rock as Maui, because if you don't get that, I'm sorry. As much as I enjoyed the movie, if you don't get him back, not interested. That's all they had to do for that trailer was end it with him saying, "You're welcome." All right. And
that's perfect.
That's all they had to do. But
they really need to hire us, Andrew. Ripaverse is doing well with you, because that's marketing genius, and clearly Disney, with their courier font, could use us on the team helping them out.
Wait! You're saying the company that already said they're going to do a live-action remake of Moana, by the way, the quickest live-action remake they've ever done, and is now instead repurposing their Moana television series into Moana 2, that they might be at a loss for creative decisions?
They're struggle busing. How's that?
I actually have
a safe bet.
Go ahead, John.
I have a different point of view. I actually think this is something that Bob Iger is doing, that it's actually smart, and kudos to him. Valiant Renegade has been talking about this for a long time. You see declining viewership for both Marvel and Star Wars, and he's like, why are they continuing to make these shows that are just losing them money? They're not gaining subscribers, and they probably saw like, hey, this is not going to gain us subscribers, so let's go and put it into theaters where it can probably be seen by a larger audience, and then maybe then that draws in subscribers. This is something that Iger has actually been talking about for quite some time, since he's been back on the calls where he wants to put things back in theaters, and then they come back on Disney Plus, and you get people to subscribe that way with the tentpole thing. So I actually think this is actually a pretty good idea from a business perspective. It's probably also why we're seeing The Mandalorian and Grogu go to theaters as well, because you're going to probably open it up to a larger audience, and then even then you can then try and, when it comes to Disney Plus, you can get people to subscribe then as well. So I think it actually is a smart business decision by Bob Iger to do this.
So John, I really appreciate you pushing back, because that opens up a new door for us to go through, for the audience to understand a little bit more what we're talking about. So I don't disagree with you. I think, Moana 2 should have happened last year, should have happened the year before. As soon as this thing exploded, they should have went into pre-production on developing a fantastic film. The issue for me is not that they're making a sequel. We should be getting close to a trilogy at this point of Moana films, because Moana is so popular with the girls that I think it has a $1.5 billion potential at theaters with the future films. The worry that I have is that when you put people who are not, that they weren't part of the original, and when you put people who are brand new at this game, which is a very, very big game with major stakes at risk for Disney, when you put them in charge of this, and you give them 6 months to make a movie, then my worry is you're taking a 1.5 billion potential franchise, and you might tank it. And I don't want them to tank this franchise, because if Disney ever turns around, this is something that you should get Moana 2, 3, 4, 5, like Toy Story. Beyond the 1.5 billion potential box office, it also has untold potential with merchandise. So this is like one of those jewels in the crown it's one of those jewels in the crown of Disney. And I don't want them to do it poorly. And this worries me that they will. But I don't disagree with them releasing a sequel at all.
Just to restate what has already been said here, is that Moana is the most popular movie on streaming by some metrics. So bar none, the most popular movie on streaming. And it came out in 2016, by the way, before Lasseter was fired. So great job, Bob, on that one, by the way.
Let's get John's, what was your rebuttal or agreement on that one?
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear. Like, I'm not disagreeing with the idea that I think they're rushing it and things like that. And obviously things can go bad. My only disagreement is the fact that the criticism that this is not a good business decision. Whereas I think moving the stuff into theaters is actually a good business decision, because we're seeing people, Valiant talks about this all the time. The Marvel shows are not bringing in people. They're not getting subscribers. And if you're trying to support your Disney Plus platform, you need subscribers. I mean, we just talked about how they lost 1.3 million, and 400,000 of them came from North America and the United States and Canada. So clearly people aren't subscribing to watch The Mandalorian. They're not subscribing to watch Loki and things like that. So what's the point of spending $200 million on a show like that when you're not actually getting any kind of return on investment on it?
Right. I don't think we're disagreeing with the idea of putting the movie into theaters. I think the disagreement is, and the criticism is them giving it to an untested studio and an untested director.
Here's the thing that happens at this point is that if this Vancouver studio knocks it out of the park, then Burbank is in danger. I would say, well, they're quote unquote finding additional cost savings, which is about the most euphemistic way of saying we're going to fire a bunch of people. If Disney Animation inside the United States is not capable of producing a film because of whatever has gone on there, and I have a feeling it's an ideological problem. If Jennifer Lee is sent to Vancouver to oversee this project and ruins that as well, so they have now destroyed the lives of 400 people who just probably moved to Vancouver, British Columbia in order to make this film. If they can keep her away from it, because again, they only have 6 months to make this film and then get a version for approval before they start tinkering with it again. So they either leave this person alone and give him the resources that he needs that are not Disney branded resources, or they send all of these Burbank helpers, I'm saying with quotes here, to go in and make it the same thing that it was with Wish, which is a travesty to the legacy of Walt Disney Animation. So from a business decision, yes, absolutely. They need to take this thing off of Disney Plus, because Disney Plus is not profitable and is a waste of money and has killed the company. But from another aspect, if this movie is successful, it kills Burbank, or they have no good reason to hold on to much of Burbank, or it's another failure, and therefore it was not a good decision either way. So
Sure,
this
and
is
it's not like
this
untested studios and creatives can't knock it out of the park. That has happened with things in the past. You know, every now and then you get that diamond in the rough, but it's definitely a gamble.
So let me put this in let me put this in a frame of reference that I think will be helpful. When Bob Iger comes back to the Walt Disney Company, I kid, he never left. When Bob Iger returns to his office, again, I kid, he never left. When Bob Iger kicks Bob Chapek out on the streets, one of the first things that happened at the Walt Disney Company was that Daisy Ridley went to Lucasfilm, and we scooped this that she was coming back to Star Wars and was going to be playing Rey. When Bob Iger came back, let's shift that priority for a moment. Rather than that being a priority to redeem the sequel trilogy and get Daisy Ridley back on at Lucasfilm, we see how that went. If Bob Iger had come back and in the first 2 weeks he had looked at the metrics for Moana on Disney Plus and he had said, "Get that in pre-production now. Get immediately. We are going full steam ahead." Then we would be in a place right now where Moana 2 would have had the typical gestation period for a film, and you could have assembled an excellent team around it. Instead, we are where we are. I want to summarize this up, though, real quick, because we do need to move to Super Chats. Breitbart has this article out, Disney outsourcing some animation to Canada amidst drastic cost cutting. This is by David Ng. Folks, we don't have the chance to go through this deeply because we need to get to those leaks. But suffice to say, this is a must read, I think. It says, in a blow to its reputation as an animation powerhouse, the Walt Disney Company is reportedly outsourcing some of its animation to Canada amid drastic budget cuts and layoffs as the once formidable studio attempts to reverse its financial decline. Again, highly recommend that in the wake of the 100-year celebration of Disney animation, that they're outsourcing this now away from their animation studios. I highly recommend that you read this article. It's fantastic stuff. We'll miss it for today, but you don't have to. Go read this as we get ready to go into scoop territory.
And we'll also be going deep into that on That Park Place. So just rest assured.
Can I ask really quick? Because you guys know, I mean, you guys keep track of this all the time. You know more than I do. Quite simply, frankly, you guys know way more about this than I do. Wouldn't it make so much sense for them to do this, considering you've got $100 million movies that are making huge amounts of profit? Just look at Godzilla and look at what Japan did with Godzilla. I understand they pay their people a lot less, but look at the amazing work they did with -1 and what kind of a budget. They had $5 million to do the special effects in that movie. And look at what they did with $5 million. Why? Because you had a team that was dedicated to doing it. You had experts in their field instead of, well, we're going to do it the DEI way, and we're going to give it to blah, 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 instead of taking the people that know what they are doing and the best that they can do and making something out of nothing. That is the way Jim Henson used to do it. That is the way these companies used to do it. And now an image is worth so more than money and worth than profit. Let them sink. Let them do this to themselves. That's what they're doing.
I'll also point out that I do believe those VFX designers on Godzilla -1, it's reported that they had nights and weekends in a nice environment to work in. That team of 35 people, I want to say, that did the visual effects for Godzilla -1.
They had an in-house chef, according to the director.
It sounds amazing. I want to work on Godzilla -1. Can we?
I'll learn VFX if it's going to get me like top tier catered ramen and sushi and crap. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
For the sushi, you bet.
Pro, you
listen
better.
Listen to what Katie Sackhoff said when she did The Mandalorian. She said that one season she worked on The Mandalorian, they spent more on catering for that one season that they did for the entire time of Battlestar Galactica. Why? Why did they do that?
Because Kathleen Kennedy has never looked at a budget she cannot explode. Pro, you ready for Super Chats?
Let's do them.
All right. Fuzzhead Movie DGR gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you so much, Fuzzhead. And also, Is This Live gifted 20 WDW Pro memberships, as well as Jay gifted 10 WDW Pro memberships, and Fat Steven JFG, how you doing, Steven? Gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you all so much, especially is this live with the 20 there. Thank you, everybody. That is amazing.
And folks, we're very, very happy that you've done that. So thankful. Check out the Genre Guys if you've been gifted a membership. Fantastic content from Tommy Tables, Lauren Connor, and LW Ghost as they analyze movies from a film perspective. There's also additional member-exclusive content and all that. And so nice of you. And what a wonderful community we have. Is this live? I will tell you that you need to tune in for the 60 subscriber celebration, 60K subscriber celebration this Thursday at 5 p.m. Thursday at 5 p.m. because there may be something waiting on you after all of your generosity. But as a way of saying thank you to all of you for this.
I want to hear it.
Not right now.
Yes, now, Dusty Bun.
Wait. Okay.
A blindfolded half-court shot that is now the talk of campus and beyond. Wow. Are you kidding me? Did you see it?
Yeah.
Is that on tape?
Yeah.
You are kidding me. Wow.
And we say wow to all of you. Thank you so much.
No, and we say wow to all of you.
Wow.
Packing Protons, games and animation for $2. At least they spell check that billboard. Yeah, that's new for Disney.
Well, yeah. Wow.
Penguin Gumbo for $4.99. Gina Carano should buy the next billboard on that day and put Beep Bop Boop on it.
Hey,
I will
wait a
fund
minute.
a Kickstarter, an Indiegogo, GoFundMe, whatever the heck you want to make that happen.
All right, who
That
wants to
is
look up? How much is
amazing.
it going to cost us to put this up in Times Square?
That would
Somebody
be
look it up. How much is it going to cost us? I might be willing to do it. Let's talk about it after the show.
My.
That's
Oh,
great.
my.
Penguin Gumbo, that is great. All right, let's keep going. But
all right,
honestly, we're going to think about it.
Absolutely
I'm writing
ready.
it down right now for myself to remember that.
Pro, be quiet because you're going to want to hear this one. Absolutely ready. Pro, you're the new Rush Limbaugh. Keep trucking, sir.
Oh.
Wow.
Coming to you live behind the dark colored microphone, the TPP studio. Yep. Never nicotine stained fingers, folks.
Graph Web for $2. For goodness sake, hashtag cancel Disney Plus. Graph Web, I think we've gotten you a little bit more irate today. You've sacrificed consistency for really getting your point across. Thank you very much for the $2 super chat. The Mickey File podcast for $10. Have to admit that superb owl commercials. Does make everything else's Disney make look better. Yeah, those Super Bowl ads, by comparison. Pro, what do you think about that?
What couldn't make Disney Super Bowl commercial look worse? That's what I would say. I mean, it would be hard to come even close to how poor that was. Maybe they could have cut down on half the letters.
And a new event from Disney, Heesel 77 for $2. It's Thadies night.
Wow.
That's
wow.
Boogers taste salty for $5. Unfortunately, I'm sure the Beatties have recordings and screen caps of all the people they need in that documentary. Oh, the baddies. Yes. The careless damage has been done.
Yeah.
You might be right. You might be right there. Well, obviously, people have already suffered the consequences of that documentary, but it doesn't mean that nothing should be done. I get what you're saying, though. Yeah. Kelland for $5. It's also important to note that in the parks, the princesses are still the fairest in the land, despite silver screen noise.
Well, more so in China. How's that for you?
In Japan.
Yeah, that's very true. Space Dave 2000, getting us right on the topics everyone needs to be talking about Jonas, you hit 10K. 10K. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Is Slade Wilson in your head right now, Jonas?
No, I was talking about. Yeah, that's getting close. You hit 10K. Congrats for TPP Pro. You hit 60K. Congrats. One has memberships, the other doesn't. Jonas, if you want your 401k to be propped up, you need to get on that, my friend. Walt Wright forever. Yeah, I'm working on the membership stuff. I'm working on it. Thank you very much, Space Dave. And I hope to see you on TPP Live. And of course, we'll be doing that 10K celebration stream, 10 p.m. on Friday. Alrighty. Oh, and Space Dave 2000 for $2. You've stolen, we've stolen your animation studio. Checkmate, eh?
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Gene Wildman. Oh, we need him. We need him back.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, yeah. Tommy Tables for $7 Canadian. A lot of love from Canada today, and good day to you, Tommy Tables. Congratulations on 60K Pro. Can you tell us all your secrets about how to function on only 30 minutes of sleep a day?
Tommy, when I get up in the morning, it's just important to not look like this.
It looked like this.
Because that's pretty much how I feel after 30 minutes of sleep each day.
Was the worst wreck I ever seen. Is this live for $5 Canadian? Coming to Disney Plus late 2024, playing test patterns to break even. Knowing Disney, they'll find some way to make those test patterns cost $100 million.
Jonas, right now, 90% of the audience out there says that we should indeed fund a billboard in New York City that says beep, bop, boop. I think the 10%, now 11%, now 10% that say that we should not are probably voting that we send it to Florida instead. That's all I can come up with. Well, it's almost nearly unanimous on this.
And I'm voting yes as well, by the way. I'm thinking we could probably fund both. Billboards are not that expensive. Another indication of Disney, maybe not worrying about how much money they're spending.
They're being very careful and fastidious about their spending. Jonas, come on.
So what we're saying is that I should buy a billboard. Gosh, this is going to be funny. We're saying I should buy a billboard directly next to the Burbank Disney headquarters that says beep, bop, boop.
Yes.
Is that what we're saying?
I will give you $1.
This is getting better.
Subscribe.
I'm not a cheap old man like Culture. I'll give you $5.
All right, we're gonna end this poll because I think we're leaving New York now, folks. This is looking more likely to go in SoCal. So
Anaheim and Orlando. Yep. Changer of Ways for $2. This is a two-part super chat. Moana 2 is a Hail Mary thrown by a linebacker, and then for another $2. But Vancouver can't do worse than Burbank with Wish. Yeah. Wish did the incredible job of making Strange World not the worst thing that Disney Animation has released in theaters.
Just keep Kathleen Kennedy out of Canada.
Blame Canada.
Me and my monkey, member for 4 months. Step down, Bob. The time and money is running out. But not according to his releases to shareholders. He wants to talk about all that momentum that he's built by getting the stock up $8 after Nelson Peltz gets it up 20. So Space Dave 2000 for $5 Canadian. Pro Disney already destroyed Dumbo, Peter Pan, Pinocchio, Maleficent, etc. They'll have no qualms about destroying anything newer. They have no clue.
That's a good point. They probably are licking their chops just thinking about, hey, we haven't had a go at any of this new stuff yet. Let's get at that.
A tipping barn for $2. Is Iger familiar with sunk cost fallacy? No. He hasn't lost money on Fox until he tries to sell it. Then he'll have to admit how much of that $70 billion he has flushed down the drain.
He's doing that a little bit with India.
Yeah. And there he's only lost $10 billion of value.
Indeedly doodly. Jonas, about 2 more super chats, and then we are going to, we've got 2 more big stories coming up, folks. One of those being the leak that we've promised you. We've got something, we think it's exclusive now because it's been quickly scrubbed off the internet. But Jonas, 2 more super chats, then we'll move on.
That's right. Tennille89 for $10. Disney's Board of Enablers and Bob's a despot. I think a funnier way to say that, but I'm tired and I refuse to put more effort into my joke than they put into doing their jobs.
Tennille, you're just the kind of person who's going to love that billboard. I can't wait for the social media reaction.
Yes, and that joke hits the spot.
Oh,
Felix P.
no, that was terrible.
That was solid.
Boo this man.
That was solid. Felix P. Ending on a good note here. Mexican Iron Man is not a YouTuber.
Sure he is. His sister even called him. His sister even called him one. Look at the expose.
He's correct. He's not a YouTuber.
I think Iron Mom also probably is on board with him being a YouTuber as well.
Yep, she is. I've talked to Mrs. Iron Mom. She is.
Hermano ratted him out.
My little bambino is a YouTuber.
There you go. And I know we're going to jump on. I know we're going to jump on the next subject, but I want to remind everybody, you can now hit like on every single super chat to pump those up. Put your thumbs up on everyone that you love. And let's see if we can make Slade Wilson the hero of this show.
Oh my gosh. He may have to get some merch. Who knows? That's right. And folks, don't forget, of course, we're doing the 60K subscriber celebration this Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern with a special pre-show membership live stream taking place just before that. Also, that Park Place will be having a 10K subscriber celebration on Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern and talking about those brand new memberships coming to that channel. Ooh. And as always, we recommend that you subscribe to our wonderful guest. We'll be redirecting you to Mr. H and his show coming up here in just a little bit. But we've got two really big topics, so don't go anywhere, and we will get to all of your super chats. But let's get moving, folks, because wow, oh wow, this breaking today, that Park Place covering it just as you expect them to do so. If you're not yet bookmarked to thatparkplace.com, what are you doing? This by John Trent, who's that? Tomb Raider 1 through 3 Remastered features trigger warning that accuses games of offensive depictions of people and cultures rooted in racial and ethnic prejudices. Who let the Disney execs into the Tomb Raider headquarters? Seriously, come on. A trigger warning appears at the beginning of Tomb Raider 1 through 3 Remastered starring Lara Croft that accuses the various games of offensive depictions of people and cultures rooted in racial and ethnic prejudices. The trigger warning was shared to the TombRaiderForums.com website and reads in full, the games in this collection contain offensive depictions of people and cultures rooted in racial ethnic prejudices. These stereotypes are deeply harmful, inexcusable, and do not align with our values at Crystal Dynamics.
Then why are you re-releasing it? Why are you re-releasing the games? Why do you want the IP at all? If you're so disgusted with what was in the games that you had to put up a trigger warning, why are you re-releasing the games and why are you continuing to make them?
Money.
Sorry, bro.
Money.
I can't handle it.
Just wait till they make a comment about the polygons. It adds, rather than removing this content, we have chosen to present it here in its original, harmful, terrible, awful, don't watch it form, unaltered, in the hopes that we may acknowledge its harmful impact and learn from it. This reminds me, and there's tons more in this article, folks, you got to go read it. Speaking of polygons, we'll just leave it here. This reminds me of Disney so much, and these companies disparaging their own legacy content, the foundations upon which they stand. This is just, I mean, they are prudes at this point. They are absolutely naive prudes, ideologues, crazy cultish folks who just want to wipe away that which existed before, which is better than what they can create. Panel, am I wrong about this? John, you wrote this. You get first swing on it. What do you think, John?
I mean, I think Loki kind of said it best there. Like, what's the point of making the game if this is what you actually think about the game? Not only is the statement, I think, offensive in that sense, but it's also they're attacking the people that made the game originally, the people from Core, and all of those people basically blanket calling them bigots. And it's just absolutely sick and disgusting.
But I think this is a secret campaign, John. You need to update your article. I think that Melanie Mack must have paid them to do this because this is going to double her influence on the internet. There's no way this doesn't make Melanie Mack an absolute superstar. Gosh, how I mean, this is almost like us coming in the same year that Disney is doing what they're doing. It's get that ready to go, John, when Melanie explodes.
Yeah, she has addressed it on Twitter. I don't know if she's on a video yet, but yeah, I was waiting for that.
We'll get that pulled up in just a minute. Panel, your thoughts on now this spreading to video games?
I mean, this isn't actually anything new. There have been games that have been doing this for a little while now, and it's always been annoying and irritating when they do it.
Which games have been doing this so that because I'm a little bit ignorant on this.
I'm trying to recall specific names off the top of my head. I know some of the Assassin's Creed games have been doing it. And there are certainly some others, but I've been a little out of some of the more recent games lately, unless they're like Persona and stuff.
Yeah, with Assassin's Creed though, it's Ubisoft normally just says like they're not trying to offend anyone. These are like fictional characters, etc., etc., etc. At least from what I've seen, this is literally calling the people who made this game basically bigots.
So Melanie took a break from butter for a moment, and she wrote this. Been telling you guys for years, Crystal Dynamics despise classic Lara Croft and Tomb Raider. After years of refusing to remaster them, Embracer outsources it for us, and Crystal Dynamics spit in our faces by adding this disclaimer. I hope Embracer fires them from the franchise. So Melanie coming out spitting fire.
It's really sad to see this from Crystal Dynamics because they actually did a really great Tomb Raider trilogy in the early 2000s, the Legend trilogy, which was Tomb Raider Anniversary, Tomb Raider Legend, and Tomb Raider Underworld. And those games are fantastic, and I adored them. I even like the reboot trilogy for what it's worth, and I think mechanically, even though it's copy and paste Uncharted, it actually does it better. And I'd rather look at Lara from behind, even the reboot version, than I would Nathan Drake anyway. But this is a stupid move. It's unnecessary. And clearly the people who are now at Crystal Dynamics, this wasn't always the case, clearly based on, like I said, the last Tomb Raider trilogy that they did or in the early 2000s, so pre-reboot, it doesn't line up. And so now they're just yet another company that's allowed ideologues to get in there, and that's taken hold over the art itself. And it's unfortunate because the wording of this absolutely disparages and is vitriolic towards the original creators of the game, who they didn't do anything offensive. They just made a game. They made a game that guys loved, that girls loved, everybody freaking loved. And Lara Croft is one of the most iconic video game characters, not just female characters, just characters in general in the entire medium. And it's a pathetic move. And I'm honestly not shocked from current Crystal Dynamics. And I'm with Melanie on this, that it's about time they got the boot. That they've outlived their usefulness.
Andrew, do you remember anyone complaining? Because I sure don't. When those original games came out, that it was a woman in the. Oh, I don't want to play a girl. No one was complaining. They got to know the character. They loved the character. There were commercials for the character. No one cared if it was a chick or not. No one cared back then. It was great. It wasn't any kind of deal.
Well, and to be fair, I mean, any of these remastered games are getting this modern baloney sausage, messaging, forced into them or edited for the modern message garbage. And look, the original game is remastered 1 through 3. I get it. The weirdest problem is that those were really blocky games. That wasn't well redefined stuff.
Well, also triangular, but yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, polygons and all of that. But when I look at the old games, I'm like, well, I played the games because they were fun and I liked adventure, and they kind of helped me get over my, desire to have, Raiders of the Lost Ark games and stuff like that, which we just weren't getting. And, it developed quite a good character, one that's good enough that they've redeveloped this game so many times. Not only that, they've also redeveloped a bunch of films. I mean, this thing launched potentially a franchise of films. I'm not sure why they walked away after the Angelina Jolie films, but I just don't understand where it comes from, where you need a trigger warning and you can call it they're using the R word.
Yeah, you don't.
But the people that claim that they need it wouldn't even buy this stuff anyway. Sorry, go ahead.
Right.
They're catering to people who don't actually buy their stuff.
Right. Yeah. I think this is the kind of thing where someone on the team said, you know what, we really need to, before we move units of this product, we got a memo from HR, a TPS report indicating that we need to pay homage to the message. This is the kind of thing that I think they have to say it. I'm not saying that they don't believe it. I'm not saying no one believes it, but there is some vocal minority here that is saying that they have to bend the knee to the message. Whether or not they are doing it sincerely or not, it really doesn't matter, but it's more bending to the message. No one cares. No one actually cares who would be buying this product. Anyone who is interested in playing this game, oh, I guess I'm going to re-examine my views on weird indigenous temples with monsters and arrows and spikes in them. I forget what's in this game other than Lara Croft, honestly. I played the newer ones. I haven't played the older ones. I did, of course, engage in lots of speculation back in the day with the other boys on the playground about Lara Croft, of course. But this is, it's just an eye roll. The people who make these games don't need to be in the same category as the people who are policing and judging these games. It's stupid. It's counterproductive. Let someone else go out there and say it, not the people who made the game.
Somebody needs to show these people, like, hey, go look at Kotaku's numbers. Nobody actually reads them or cares about them. Like, so you don't need to bring their same nonsense into this.
You know, that's one of the things I have to remind. I'm not going to say the YouTube personality who was doing this, but it's somebody who's been on the channel many times, and they were firing back at a Twitter account that, you know, most people would think it's rather large. And I looked and I went, wait a minute. This account is actually significantly smaller than you. You've just risen in popularity so fast that you're not recognizing that you're fending off an ankle biter now. It's a legacy account that maybe once upon a time had a lot of clout, but it's an ankle biter, and you don't need to get involved with this little ankle biter because nobody's paying attention to them any longer. And I think that's Kotaku. I think that's some of these other outlets, Polygon perhaps.
Well, I was pointing that out when Nerdrotic was being attacked by this silly human over at the Mary Sue. And
Rachel Leishman.
Thank you. Yeah, she is like an editor or something over there living in New York City, which is one of the most expensive places in the world. And that little website can't generate more than 4 million hits a month. The people who go there are there for less than a minute. They probably got tricked by a clickbait headline.
It's rage views probably, or people who are like, I can't believe this is real.
There's probably more people in this space going to those websites to read and laugh and make videos and monetize them than there are actual people that agree with the crap that's coming out of their mouths than their fingertips on their keyboards.
I agree with you, but the point is, like, we give them a lot more cultural relevance than they deserve because they're artificially propped up by algorithms. I don't think you would get 1.6 page hits per visit. You know, if you were a high quality site, that's all they muster. They muster 1.6 page views. They muster 55-second view time, and that's it. Nobody stays there. It's not like That Park Place where you have, you know, people reading through the entirety of these great articles, or, you know, getting clued in on a video that somebody dropped, or any number of the other things that happen on the amazing site that John and Jonas and Pro run. So, you know, like I said, I mean, I'm not even reacting to Kotaku or the Mary Sue or any of that. And if I do, it's because it's going to be great fodder for a video. That's it.
Yep.
Well
And that's the way you got to look at it. You can't, it doesn't matter even if they're bigger than you and they're not ankle biters. You're doing something right. You've got somebody's attention. Keep rolling and doing what you're doing. And don't worry about the people hating on you. Just keep doing what you're doing.
If I thought they understood anything about video game culture, I would tell them that they are engaging in NPC behavior.
Yeah.
Well, these are the same people that thought that the tutorial demo for Final Fantasy Remake was too hard.
like a video game character that somehow escaped the bounds of the map and is now exploring beyond what the developers once thought we should. It's time to get into this major leak. And I think this is going to be exclusive simply because this was up for a very short amount of time on the web. Jonas, in his immense ability of capturing information, even when it is briefly up on the web, managed to do so. And so, Jonas, I'm very pleased that once again you have hit it out of the park. Folks, we've got exclusive information about Tiana's Bayou adventure, the replacement to Splash Mountain, and we're ready to bring that to you. Jonas, I'm going to hand controls over to you, as it's your files. Well, not your files, but it's files that you have access to play for us. So bring that up, please.
Go. All right. I suppose I'll do the talking too. First of all, I need to give credit to several people here who have helped me with this. One of them being Mr. Vash Sky. His face right there. Oh man, I'm sorry, Vash. That's the screen cap of you that we got. But there's your smiling face. An account called Splash Mountain Archives has been bragging for 6 to 7 months now that they've had digital renders of the inside of Tiana's Bayou adventure. And this morning, the Disney Company released footage of their own of what the Tiana animatronic looks like. Pro, I don't know if you've got that handy. I've got I got enough here going on.
I do. Give me just a moment, and I'll get that.
So it's saying, I can now confirm that the Splash Mountain finale scene will be drastically altered. The showboat has been dismantled and will be replaced with the facade of Tiana's palace. This was the original tweet, again, 7 months ago.
Oh, wow.
But this morning, it was updated with an animatic here. In the new finale scene, we are invited to a Mardi Gras celebration with Tiana's palace serving as the backdrop of the former Zippity Lady showboat. This is that same view right here, but now this has been replaced with, I'm assuming, a stationary building as opposed to the little steam wheel ship that used to be here rocking back and forth full of animatronics. A technological wonder that they were able to pull that off with all those heavy animatronics sitting on it. And now
let me explain why this is problematic. So Splash Mountain was an attraction. Somebody help me. Somebody refresh me. I think it had nearly 70 or just over 70 different animatronics in it.
100.
Okay, so over 100 animatronics. Well, I wasn't including some of the things like the little turtles that had just a single hydraulic lift. But
right.
If we use everything,
I like turtles.
Where's Tom right now with that? But we now know that this has how many animatronics going in it? It's like 16, 17 animatronics total.
17, and we'll 17. Have more updates here if you guys want to keep track here.
So here's what we all need to know about this finale. According to what we have seen leaked out now, this features 6 or 7 animatronics. 8? How many, Jonas?
I think that maybe 9 are in
9 animatronics in the final scene. So what that means is that throughout the rest of the ride, which culture accurately says over 100 animatronics in the original Splash Mountain, that means that you're going to get 6 animatronics in all the rest of Splash Mountain.
Bonkers.
6. This was the most beloved ride in the world, according to polling. It still exists in Japan, by the way. They won't get rid of it. Disney hates them for it.
Well, not according to Inside the Magic. Apparently, this one from C. Claude says, Inside the Magic says, Japan closed Splash Mountain. Lol. I'm assuming
sure
that's
Zero. Mike Zero will do a video tomorrow. So so you've got a huge attraction with so many scenes. There's no way that this is not going to be turned now into a projector attraction with fog machines. That's it. That's what we're doing.
Everything we used to complain about Universal is now flip-flopped. You have Disney becoming Universal and Universal becoming Disney. That is what is happening right in front of our eyes.
That's a very good point. So I want to bring up some other items here. Pros, look like you've taken over for me here. Go ahead.
Well, the other thing I want to say, and you're welcome to take over if you'd like. The other thing I want to say is the iconography of these characters in these rides is so important. And so, for example, when you go ride the Little Mermaid, the animatronics, because this was made by people who had been at Disney for decades and they had common sense in their head. When you go ride the Little Mermaid, Ariel is in her normal outfits that you've seen, that you know. That's why you're going to ride the rides. The people in charge of this attraction now have decided that they're going to tell an all-new story with an all-new soundtrack, with all new looks for the characters. There's Tiana in just a yellow dress. It's not her iconic dress or anything like that. They showed the animatronics.
Involved?
Probably. They showed the animatronics. I'll try to get that pulled up in just a second. But the animatronic is not in, the animatronic's in this brand new outfit. And so there are people saying, well, that doesn't even look like Tiana. And they're spending this huge amount of money on making a ride that's based on this all new story. Why? Why would you not use the original soundtrack? Why would you not use the original designs of the characters?
The original soundtrack is one of the best Disney animated soundtracks, too.
Yes, all of this is just crazy. It's just absolutely nuts. And we'll have that for you in just a moment, folks. I'll get that in just a second from Scott Guston.
Gotta have her in a suit.
Right, they have her in a. They have her essentially in a safari outfit. This is Tiana in her 40s, right here.
It's just, why?
Middle-aged.
Why did you need to reinvent this?
The character was beautiful. She had a great design, a fantastic dress, one of the best ones we'd seen in a long time. again, the music for that movie was absolutely out of this world.
I mean, really good music. Randy Newman did the soundtrack, and
Mhm.
that at the
One of
end
the
of
best
2D
villain
animation,
songs ever.
right? And I don't think that they're bringing back Keith David for the ride. Maybe they'll surprise us all and actually do. I Got Friends on the Other Side
Oh, this
before the
thing's gonna
drop, but I don't think they're going to do that.
So,
I think it's going to be Mama Odie.
This thing's going to break down. I mean, I believe those are projected eyes.
no,
I'm not sure about the eyes. Go ahead,
So,
Jonas.
as I understand it, the Hong Kong park, they stopped doing projector faces, at least, and I think that they're so tired of all of these Instagram photos of completely blacked out faces on Frozen, the ride that's at Epcot, that they're going to go with something that at least doesn't look horrifying when it shuts down. I think they'd rather have a still face rather than all of this. And plus, there's problems with photos of screens not showing up well on Instagram. I think they've understood that social media is where these parks live as far as advertising goes. So I don't think they're doing as many projector faces anymore.
But this is new Disney. This is a Disney that they no longer have the common sense to say, yeah, we're going to make this look like Tiana. Instead, they have these activists behind the scenes who say, not only are we going to destroy Splash Mountain, the most popular ride according to our polling, period, in the world, but when we introduce this IP into Splash Mountain and we cut the animatronics down from over 100 to 16, we're also going to redesign the character such that it doesn't look like Tiana. So just here's everybody do this thought experiment. Look at this character, and if you did not know that we're talking about Tiana's Bayou Adventure, does that look like Tiana?
Nope.
And if it doesn't look like Tiana, then why are they reinventing the wheel? Why? You have something. This is what we continue to see across entertainment. It's now in the Disney parks. It is overthinking things to a ridiculous level, and it's just these people don't know what they're doing, and it's gonna have a real impact on the finances of the Disney parks domestic.
I just want to point out that Sharita Carter, who was the Imagineer that was just pointed out here, she's been around for a long time, has worked with probably both Tony Baxter and I know for sure Joe Rohde. I've met her personally on a few occasions. It's very interesting that she's tied to this. I'm not sure. I mean, she's definitely
she's working under Carmen Smith, which I think is really the problem.
Okay, because she's definitely describing a very miraculous performance by this animatronic. This is one of the newer generation animatronics, so it's of incredible quality. The question is this going to sell the end of the ride? Because the finale, because there's so little in it, so sparse throughout, as you've described, this finale has to sell it. If you have Tiana, an alligator, and maybe a few other things, they really have to bring it, because one of the most disappointing aspects of the Pandora boat ride, which is what I'm going to call it, you're disappointed in that entire thing because it's all screens until the very end, and then you have a shaman that now has a history of breaking down regularly at the very end of that attraction. And while initially impressive, both for its size and its ability, it's something that now is having a breakdown cycle that's far too often. So,
right, and it's also got a big slash in its neck that they're struggling to repair.
Yeah, well, that's the other problem with the versus all the older materials and the static things that they used to do, and some of the other neat compliance things that were built into animatronics from way back. Those things don't exist anymore. You have a lot of precision movement things that do, some more robot-like things rather than the give that was built into the other animatronics. I could talk about this for hours, but everybody will be bored. So,
well, I will say too, this character with the drums. This is a character, to my knowledge, that has been invented for the ride. It's not a real character from the movie or any other Princess and the Frog, stuff. It's just new, and that's the kind of stuff that maybe it'll work, maybe it'll be fantastic. But you talk about some red flags, and again, thank you to Jonas and Devash for catching this.
Right. And I'll also point out there were other people that helped, but I'm not sure they want their names attached to leaked information right now. But If we can go through some of this, if we go to the original image of Splash Mountain real quick, I'll take back over for a second.
Yeah, take back over, Jonas.
I do have one quick question before we move on. Do you think that they repurposed that animatronic and it was supposed to be Tiana's mom?
Well, that's
what
the
it looks
question.
like. Haircut and everything.
Tiana's mom is in the background of that scene there
Okay.
with the Imagineer. So it does look a lot like it's supposed to be Tiana's mom, and the face is really close. But yeah, she does look older than she should look.
My understanding too is that the Tiana animatronic is a repurposed Belle from Disneyland Paris. So they've repurposed that, reskinned it. That's my understanding.
Yep. So if you look over here on the left-hand side, this is the Bayou Boys over here. And I think that we have what they're being replaced with. That would be Eudora, which we saw the back, whether or not you guys realize it, you saw the back half of her in the background of that Imagineering video. And then, of course, Charlotte LaBeouf right here. A hilarious character. I don't know a woman who loves Princess and the Frog that doesn't love Eudora. So right there, we've got 2 animatronics. Then here we have Louis, the alligator, which that actually looks like that's going to be a very impressive animatronic. Tiana here, I'm hoping this is not a final, even close to the final design. I think there was a flapper costume that was mentioned at some point.
Please don't.
Well, there was
put her in the dress.
And somehow I'm missing the photo, but you did have it here. So this is the same scene, I think, as the other one. So maybe Naveen and Ralphie, I almost called him Cristiano Ronaldo for some reason. I think they're going to be behind Louis and Tiana here. So we've got 4 animatronics in this space, 6 if you count the mom and Charlotte there. And right here, the king and queen of Meldonia, along with Big Daddy, Charlotte's father, are speculated.
We're not seeing that one, Jonas. Can you pull that up?
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry,
you switch screens, yeah.
Yeah. The king and queen of Meldonia, along with Big Daddy, which is Charlotte's father. That is the one that's voiced by John Goodman. Speculated to be added just across from Charlotte and Eudora to fill in the space of the finale. They're supposed to be stage where the mule cart is. And if we go over here, this is the mule cart right here. So that is, let's see, 3 on that platform, going up to 5 for the mom in there, and then 4 on that. So that's 9 animatronics. That's not counting Mama Odie, who is at the top. So we've got 10. So that leaves 7 animatronics for what is a very long ride left over. I think Tiana appears at least twice. Maybe Louis appears 2 other times, according to concept art. So whatever they're doing with this ride, if that 17 animatronics figure is accurate, they don't have many animatronics. The only other thing they've talked about is mist and quote unquote Bayou magic with what they're doing with the mist in this ride. So 100 and something animatronics of animals, amazing soundtrack to, I don't know. So
they better knock it out of the park, because this if this ride is a failure, with the Marvels, if it fails, it leaves the box office quicker and nobody watches it on Disney Plus. If you take the most popular attraction in your park and it fails, then you've got 20 years of very poor capacity issues created from that, as well as a major eyesore. So, anyway.
Yep. And I'll also add that this is moved to summer of 2024 now, whereas it, even as of a week ago, they said it was going to be late 2024. So I get the feeling that they are now rushing to get this thing up in at least Walt Disney World in Florida. So I wonder if they're moving resources off of the California staff to move them to Florida on a temporary basis in order to get this thing done on time. I don't want to speculate too much on their logistics here, but looking at Moana 2 being repurposed, looking at the fact that they were also looking to move Lilo and Stitch to theaters, there's a lot of moving things to theaters that's going on here. A lot of shifting things around. They're a little bit desperate when we look at their schedule. They're now listing Ahsoka being added to Star Tours as 3 separate items on their list of attractions coming to different parks around the world. So they're desperate for any win they can get. So I think that in the end, somehow they're still rushing
towards collapse.
I would be curious to know how much money they're spending on this, like to rip out Splash Mountain and replace it. Because I mean, they already took a massive hit on what they spent and did not make back, not nearly, on Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah,
their parks have had diminishing returns over the last several years because people are having less and less interest in them.
Well, I mean,
rumor has
no
been
way they turn a
250
profit
million
on
apiece.
this.
The rumor's been 250 million apiece at the two parks. Culture, have you heard anything different than that?
No. What I keep hearing is that they are constantly having their budget shaved along the way.
Yeah. Which is how you go from hundreds of animatronics to 17.
Well, to just point out that this was a ride that was always had a line because it was a fun ride. So this is not a ride that was dying off. This is not something in the corner of the park. This is not Carousel of Progress where they just abused it for a very long. Well, they did abuse this ride for a very long time. But this is something that was popular. So when we talk about the $60 billion, where some of it has been earmarked for capacity, okay, all they're doing is destroying things and replacing them. They're not building anything new.
Right. Well, they're incapable of it. And because they have shook loose the people who used to be able to maintain things, and they lost the ability to reproduce parts. And I mean, we can get into a whole litany of problems that they have behind the scenes. You know, they have to make them cheaper. They have to make a move to various types of apparatus that, you know, the rides were not prepared to help along. I mean, the vast majority of animatronics still, and the older ones are moved and motivated by a different form of hydraulic pressure, whether or not it be nitrogen gas or traditional hydraulics or even compressed air. In fact, you can still hear the hiss behind the release of said, you know, motion ability. This is a whole series of problems that they can't make up for. They've allowed these parks to get beyond their control because they have very poor, meritless leadership. And that's the kindest way I can say that.
And this isn't to make a quick correction to what was being said a minute ago. Not by you, Culture. You're brilliant. And your beard's amazing. You got nice hair too. But this was not a lateral move. This wasn't just like not adding something and instead just, you know, taking away something and replacing it. No, this is a net negative. This is a net loss, I think. Because
Agreed.
you took
Agreed.
this,
I'll
as
take
you
that
just said,
correction.
this is a to your point, Culture. This was a an attraction that was incredibly popular.
Well, you know, the one thing I'll add to that, Andrew, and maybe you can speak to this as well. The capacity on this attraction was outstanding. Yeah, lots of people at once.
Yeah, so you could, even though you had that line, you could get a good chunk of people. The line was continually there because it was a popular ride, but that's a good thing for you. That's good for business. Replacing that with something that's not going to be a fraction as popular, more than likely. I'm willing to be proven wrong. I just don't expect that I will be in this instance. That's a net loss. And you're already taking net losses just annually on diminishing lines and diminishing attendance at your parks.
To quote
and you're
from Rare
overspending
Frog,
on this stuff that nobody cares about. Like, what the actual blue hell are you doing, Disney?
To quote from Brer Frog one last time, you can't run from trouble. Ain't no place that far. You just didn't know the trouble was Disney. All right, and not Tar. All right, Jonas, can we go to Super Chats?
Yes, we do need to go to Super Chats.
I want to reflect after the Super Chats on a major story that came out on That Park Place. So, folks, we've still got content on the way. Don't go anywhere as we get to your fantabulous Super Chats.
Yes, sir. Hound Monkey. Just want to say thanks to Pro and the entire panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh. Elizabeth Young says, let's get a beep bop boop billboard for Philly too.
Oh man, we're gonna have to fund billboards all over the country now.
That's true. This is getting bigger. C Clan, member for 1 month. Inside the Magic. Yes, we said this one before. Inside the Magic says Japan closed Splash Mountain. What's the matter? Did
what month is it?
February?
Yeah. Just when you read Inside the Magic headlines, all I'm saying is ponder for a moment.
Oh,
just
and,
be careful with Inside the Magic.
And let it be stated that I'm pretty sure Cyclone knew what's up with that. Jay for $5. Jonas, you better hope Slade didn't hear that slip up.
Oh no,
he did. Oh, he did. Thank you very much. Felix P, member for 5 months. Beep bop boop. Boop boop ba doop. Oh, boop boop ba doop.
I got it. Fantastic.
Varen for $5. Gina settlement equals 300 million and 1 million alpacas. I heard that.
Oh man, Jonah's still with it.
Packing Protons, Games and Animation for $5. There is a Disney store in Times Square. Perfect place for beep bop boop. Yeah. And speaking of which,
I'm here for the trolling.
That rumor that they were replacing Shop Disney with the Disney Store or reverting. I think that one came true too, by the way.
The suggestions we're getting, by the way, are fantastic. We've had some people suggest that we get a billboard right outside of Lucasfilm headquarters as well. That would be funny. We got to really think about this. Where are we going to put this money at?
That's a really good point. We could figure out some people's traffic when they go home here. The Mickey File podcast for $5. One on I-4, one in Burbank. And maybe more if we're following the trend here. Thank you very much, Mickey File podcast. Carlos Alfredo Lopez, beep bop boop. Wow. Hashtag dang it, Bob.
I can only imagine that as Disney finds out about this is the reaction.
No, so on the one side, you have beep bop boop. On the other side, you have the Elon quote.
Go
hey,
fund
Bob.
yourself.
Hey Bob, and just have ellipses there. Hey Bob.
Oh, hi Bob.
That's all you.
That's what it needs to say.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I think are we at 4 billboards now? Well, no, I think we're at 5. We count New York, Florida, Chicago, San Francisco for Lucasfilm.
Well, unlike people on Twitter, the people in this space actually have money and buy things. So I think we can make this happen.
We're
you could
productive.
You could always throw that park beep bop boop place and then put your website down at the bottom.
Not a bad
I
idea.
love it. Slip it into the marketing funds right now.
Shameless.
And I do
plug.
believe that this is Goliath 2172's first super chat for $5. Yes, get one right next to the Disney C-suite, right outside of Bob's office window, where he can see it as he gets out of both of his showers per day. He's gonna go right back in. Cesario JPN for $5. A VTuber, Shy Lily, got a Times Square billboard funded by her fans. Gina Carano fans could do it if they funded it. We got a few deep pockets here.
Well, let me look into it and see how much this thing's going to cost. We'll figure out a plan here.
And maybe somebody could nudge Elon. Enough people could nudge Elon Musk maybe to get him to do that. Tennille89 dislikes puns for $2. It's in the name. I'm contacting the Hague over Jonas's pun. Which one? Tennille89, because there's more coming. All right. Ned Brickley for $2. Billboards in Times Square go for 150. I do believe it's 150 per hour, if I'm not mistaken here. You might have to have a minimum buy, though. We'll have to see.
We could put this out. We could put this out the day the Acolyte comes out. That would be funny.
Oh man, that'd be amazing. Billboard in Cali Buster thinks so.
I'm looking at prices right now, folks. That's how serious I am about it.
Do it when the Mandalorian movie comes out as well.
I think we can get this up outside of Disney proper for $435, somewhere around there. Get it seen by about 200,000 people. I'm looking at it.
All right. I'm excited here. Josh Hammond, member for 9 months. Congrats, pro and panel, on 60K. It's my birthday. Well, happy birthday to you, Josh Hammond.
Birthday.
You know what? That deserves a dance. We're glad you're here with us, spinning around the sun together. What a time to share. Happy birthday, Josh. It's a dance. Top cruise on the birthday. Keep him away from a couch. Happy birthday, Josh.
Happy birthday. Jay, for $10. Don't forget that Timcast put their rooster up on the boards in Times Square. I think Tim said it wasn't as expensive as he thought originally. And didn't he lease a little bit of space there for a brief period to another company in there.
He did a whole North End takeover for a while.
What a wonderful!
I think there's fun to be had in this space.
Jay for $5. Polygon Lara Croft, the real inspiration for the design of the Cybertruck.
She's as tough as a Cybertruck.
Yeah,
agree with that.
That's good stuff right there.
That's good.
Olaf Van S for €6. Olaf, you didn't have to do that. As I mentioned before, the modern audience, a paper tiger created by Hollywood marketing companies to force Disney Tom to change products, kill products for it. Yes, very well stated, Olaf.
That's right. It's spread throughout the industries. Apparently, they hate the original stuff. They hate that which people love. It's bizarre.
Absolutely. Vicky Sari for £5. We should put a billboard outside of Lucasfilm as well.
I'm loving it.
I love this idea. Elizabeth Young,
get ready.
For $10, these people need to be told to go outside and touch grass. This whole thing is getting very tiresome. How much longer must our culture be defaced by these loonies? I do believe this was during the Lara Croft conversation.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Well, they're loonies no matter what topic we're covering. So we totally agree. You know, Elizabeth, I'm starting to realize the fun we can have with this, though. So right now in the Pro Store, we've got every item discounted 16% in celebration of 60K subs. We put out our first new item of the year, which is a Pro Cap. But I'm thinking that we need to do some beep, bop, boop, because if we love this idea so much about billboards, we need to be wearing this. And I think there's some other fun stuff we can do as well about this. So, you know, I'm thinking, well, there's some other stuff that we're going to do. But yeah, we can convince these people to go outside and touch grass right underneath our billboards. That's what we need to have them do.
Well, of course, if those billboards get put up, we're going to have to get some pics of followers and maybe some of us ourselves there at the site.
If they want to try to deface the billboards, that's better than our franchises. That's what I say.
Oh, give them something to be enraged about. Mickey File Podcast. This looks like a blank super chat, but I just wanted to say thank you very much for the $5.
That's right. And if you meant to send in something and it went poorly, let our mods out in the chat know, and they'll send it our way, okay?
Yep. And Mark Hott coming in hot for $10. Embracer Group, the parent company of Crystal Dynamics, does not know how to do video games. After Microsoft fixes ABK, there is talk they will buy Crystal Dynamics and do something with Tomb Raider. That would be, is that Activision Blizzard? What's the K?
Activision Blizzard King. Yes. King. Is
King. Yes.
Candy Crush.
A Candy Crush. Yep. That you may not be wrong. I know that Embracer doesn't mind selling off little bits of things here. So
Embracer is also super woke too. They've got like all the ESG and DI stuff.
Yes, they are. And of course, Limited Run Games, also owned by Embracer Group. Tennille89 for $2. Oh, current Disney, thy name is Dunning-Kruger. Brother, you ain't wrong.
Oh, Tennille.
And thank you very much for allowing me to make another joke at someone else's behalf there. Darth Maul's lower half for €2. Iger's computer password 000 destruct 0.
I thought it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's amazing.
No, it should probably be numbers in descending order to associate with the descending profits.
Ooh. Jacob Foxfires 964, member for 7 months. Everything is upside down with Disney and Universal. Yeah, Universal's got more announcements to stay relevant. They've partnered with we're not going to be able to talk about it here just yet, but they've partnered with one of the largest video game companies out there, that being Minecraft, in order to put Universal into Minecraft. And that is something that pays off now and probably didn't cost Universal $1.5 billion to do it.
And I would suggest there's probably two sides to this. We probably know one side right now.
Yeah. The Fortnite issue is going to continue to be something. Michael for $2. Bibbity bobbity beep pop boop.
Love it.
And I'm trying to keep up with the super chats, but wow, Tennille89 for 2. Maybe Elon will chip in if you tag him on X. And
well, right now, we would like for Elon to take notice of the story we did this morning. That's really where we would like for attention to be picked up. As much as this other stuff is fun and we love it and we appreciate your support, we really want this Disney Plus issue with National Geographic cleaned up if at all possible.
Yeah, right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there's no reason at this point that documentary would be hurt by blurring some faces. Coyote Trickster for $20. Wow! First of all, spite. Don't forget we have money and spite.
That's true.
I seem to recall someone who had spite.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
I love that little sheepish
move.
I love that little sheepish butt in the middle of the two of them there. Jacob Foxfires for $10. Also from earlier, us gamers don't have a problem with women in our games. Samus has been an icon of that, but these people want to turn these women into boys so badly and still rewriting history. Yeah, Samus got more interesting when it was discovered that she was a girl, and they continue to keep her feminine despite the fact that she's just blasting away space pirates all the livelong day.
Don't forget that back when Rare was really doing well, Perfect Dark also starred a female
Joanna Dark
character. Yep.
Man, can you imagine? Can you imagine being like, I, as a woman, want to be represented in the video games, and they give you what they want, and then they go, but you know what? We're going to take all of your feminine features away. We're going to take everything that makes you a woman away, and we are going to turn you into a dude.
Their vision of the future is Loki. Their vision of the future is Arnold Schwarzenegger wearing a bra. That's their future that they'd like to give us.
We had that in the WWE. Your name was China back in the
Maria,
day.
go get my Brazil. Okay. Kuibo for $20. Disney's DEI initiatives are genuinely destructive to ever returning to a semblance of normalcy when it comes to interacting with media at all anymore. It makes every minority and woman look like they didn't earn their jobs. Yeah. That is one blessing of not being a minority in the United States. You know that you've got the job despite all of this nonsense going out there. I hate the doubt that they have put into everyone's heads of, am I being given something here? Which I would be so insulted.
I am surprised more people aren't insulted by that, Jonas.
Yeah. Let's see. Mickey File Podcast apparently wanted to say, my super chat was supposed to say Tomb Raider can put up whatever trigger warnings they want as long as they keep crawl mode.
Oh.
My man knows
Mickey
what's important.
Mickey File, is this you?
My favorite color is light tan. My favorite animal is puppies. I like serving the Lord, hiking, play volleyball.
You gotta be kidding me. Everything you just said is my favorite thing to do every day.
It's really good. It's fantastic. Changer of Ways for $5. You need a clip of What About Bob? One of Bob showering. One, he's never gone. He's never gone.
So we've got a couple clips that we want to bring in. I don't want to give away what we're going to be doing for the 60K, but What About Bob is definitely on the list of clips that we need to have.
Guys, stop giving him ideas. Stop giving him ideas.
I can tell you Quantum Leap is involved.
Oh, no. You've got to trade one out if you're going to do the clip that I think that you're going to do. Mark Nichols, member for 5 months, working, but I wanted to say hi. Well, hi, Mark.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Know that.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way,
I
Mark
have that
Nichols
clip.
gifted 10 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you so much, Mark.
That is just absolutely so kind. And you know what that means? Mark, it's your turn. It's time to drink from the fire hose.
Oh, Joe Miller, you just found the marble in the oatmeal. You're a lucky little boy, because you know why? You get to drink from the fire hose! Okay, you ready? Open wide!
Michael Richards. Love it. Aaron Glendening for $2. I know where my tax refund is going. Oh, wow. Hashtag beep, bop, boop. Love it.
So we need to delay about 2 months, eh? I hear you.
Oh no, you can get a rapid refund. Yeah, you filed.
I already got my refund.
Well, we build this up. About June is where I'm hearing The Acolyte is going to be releasing. So I don't know.
That's still coming out.
Dustin Sensenegg for $2. So when is the collab with Braden of Mickey Views? We love Braden. Maybe if he would return my calls.
Wow.
I don't know. That's a good question.
We love Braden. I think Braden loves us. We're all chums. We're all buddies. There are other channels out there who have taken more critical positions, and every time we invite them to come on and have a friendly conversation, they don't seem to want to for some reason. I don't understand it.
Yeah, you're not talking about Braden when you say that, though.
No, Braden. I think we get along great.
Yeah. Penguin Gumbo for $5. Waiting on residuals on my billboard idea. Whenever it turns a profit,
that's right.
We'll be glad to send something your way.
It's not about turning a profit. It's about sending a message.
Oh, that's perfect, John. Thank you. Interested American for $2. Gina Carano is supercalifragilistically expialidocious. Thank you for converting that into an adverb.
%.
Changer of Ways, member for 5 months. We never got a perfect dark movie. We ought to have. I mean, that movie would have had an amazing action star, a kooky head of a super secret spy organization, an alien named
do it
Elvis.
now. She's redhead.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that.
Well, I guess we just spoiled it there. She's going to be replaced with a black man or a black woman then.
And as we all know, if they do any movie adaptation of a video game featuring a female lead, she's going to have to be covered up more than someone who lives in Dutch Amish country. But men, on the other hand, they can be stripped bare, just like in Thor.
Wear clothes. Oop, almost forgot that one.
There's actually a new AI tool you can use to put clothes back on people. So yeah,
I can use that the next time I go to Typhoon Lagoon. I'll tell you. Sign me up for that one.
Here's my idea: Haley Atwell as Joanna Dark.
I'll go with that. Yeah.
I'll sign me up for that. Yeah.
Paco Sailor.
Nobody had an objection
for $20.
Hello, Darby Ori.
Enemies of the Ori will show no mercy in their attempts to lead us astray from the true path. Likewise, we must attack with all strength, which we have been given. Those who abandon the path are evil. Is that a Stargate reference?
Hallowed are the Ori. Yes.
Oh, man. I miss Stargate SG-1.
Nerds.
And thank you very much for the very generous super chat. Sutton Creek Productions gifted 5 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you so much, Sutton Creek Productions. You've been very generous today.
Thank you. Ooh. Thank you. Just wonderful that so many are gifting memberships and so many of you are becoming members of the channel. We can't wait for you to experience great stuff like the genre guys and the other content, the member spotlights. And if you would like to have a member spotlight for yourself, just reach out to Tommy Tables. He conducts those member spotlight videos, and we would love to have you and shine a spotlight on the cool things that you're doing in life.
Oh, and also Jay for $20. That Tiana animatronic is in the uncanny valley. The eyes are dead. They need more activity for the movement of the rest of the body. On top of that, the face would look creepy in the darkness. Ooh, if the ride breaks down.
Wow.
Under the work lights. I had not thought of that. Under the work lights, it could be kind of creepy.
Now, the minute it looks like there's gonna be trouble, we got to nip it! Nip.
Universal could actually sue them for IP infringement at that point because you'd have a Friday Night at Freddy's thing or Five Nights at Freddy's thing going on.
By the way, Culture, I don't know if you saw this. There were some folks wondering if you have worked at a Showbiz pizza place ever in the past. Is that can you confirm or deny?
I'm not going to comment on any of that.
He's CIA.
Oh, yep.
I'm not commenting on any of that.
The same organization. What you all don't realize is that Showbiz Pizza is an arm of the CIA.
Zip it
now
good.
It all makes sense.
Stay Fluffed for $10. What can poor Bob Iger do to keep from becoming Iger stew? The board and old Iger are wasting their breath as Disney is facing certain death. Don't go into the wokeness place or Peltz will get you too.
Yeah, nice. I would just remind everybody
It did. It was pros. That was
although we're supportive of Nelson Peltz because we believe that Disney should be moved back to the sensible center. I just want to remind everybody, we're hopeful, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think that Disney is spending every bit of gas left in the tank to get them past April, and then Nelson Peltz is going to swoop in after that. That's my belief, but I think there's going to be comeuppance come next year.
Truly, truly. The Mickey Fowl podcast became a YouTube member at the profound level.
Hey,
welcome aboard,
welcome
sir.
aboard.
Or man.
Welcome.
Mickey Fowl.
All right, Jonas, are we ready to hit our very last topic very briefly?
Yes, sir. I am ready to talk about the new Splatoon DLC.
The Splatoon DLC? What are you talking about? That's not what we agreed to for our final topic today. We're talking about
it's a
Mando Season 4.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're doing. All right, this out of thatparkplace.com. John Trent, the author. Rumor, The Mandalorian Season 4 getting scrapped will be the end of the series on Disney+. A new rumor claims to reveal Lucasfilm's plans for The Mandalorian following the announcement of The Mandalorian and Grogu feature film. A source alleged to be contracted with Lucasfilm informs That Park Place that Lucasfilm is scrapping The Mandalorian Season 4. The source also claims that the series will no longer be moving forward on Disney+. The rumor comes in the wake of Lucasfilm announcing The Mandalorian and Grogu film back in January. Now, I wanted to bring this up today because we've had some more information that has come out that starts lending more credibility to this. We are a bit wary just because we know that there's opportunity for Lucasfilm to put out bad info, and they would probably love to put out bad info so that we're confused by that, and so that we give you bad info. At the same time, what is making this, I think, all the more credible is, one, the need that Disney has shown to move all of their expenditures out of the Disney Plus ledger and get it somewhere else so they can show profitability. But also, I have been looking into this over the past few days. I don't see any evidence that The Mandalorian Season 4 is going into production anytime soon. I've been scouring looking for documents. Panel, if you have any information about that, I'd love to know it. But it looks to me like the window is narrowing to the point that this rumor is very quickly going to be corroborated. Now, we don't know that for sure, but they're allegedly filming the Mandalorian movie starting in June. Now, we're in mid-February, and I don't see any evidence that the Season 4 is starting filming. So they would have to start this thing up. My thought is, surely, I guess they could film it after the movie. I don't think that's going to happen. But it looks to me like they would probably have to film episodes 1 through 6 sometime, at least by the beginning of April. So the closer we get, the more and more it's seeming like they might actually scrap The Mandalorian again, talking about that cadence of content being cut in order to prove to investors that they're making a profit. Panel, as we wrap up this last topic, your thoughts on that one?
Well, doesn't this actually track with what we had already heard like a year or so ago, that they were going to be ending The Mandalorian with a movie?
We'd heard that, but we thought that was going to be the Mandoverse movie that Dave Filoni is directing. I do want to say, too, and John, I don't know if it's in that article, we've also heard that Filoni's role with this film has been stepped up dramatically.
Yeah, it's later on. I put it in later on because I felt like it fit better further down than in the main part.
So, folks, we recommend that you go read that article. 100% go to thatparkplace.com, look up The Mandalorian. But, yeah, definitely go check this out. But Dave Filoni's role seems to be expanding. That has come, by the way, from two different sources, talking about two different things. For example, one of the things that we heard was that Dave Filoni was given the script from Jon Favreau for the TV series. Then it was his job, Dave Filoni's job, to quote-unquote plus that script so that it is theater-worthy, that it's beyond just an episodic kind of TV show, but now it's a big-budget blockbuster movie. So, Andrew, you've got, go ahead, Andrew, with your thought.
No, I was just saying, what would Filoni know about making something theater-worthy?
That's a great point, because he's never made anything theater.
Especially,
great point.
He doesn't know how to make something TV-worthy.
Plusing a Jon Favreau script who has made lots of good movies.
Yeah, the next step needs to be handing it back to Jon Favreau and saying, "I'm sorry, you do what you want."
They won't do that.
The hubris of Filoni will never allow him to do that. He's the chosen one, the son of the creator, the blah blah blah. He will never ever do that.
So obviously he has had one thing go to theaters, and it didn't do that well. It was the 2008 Clone Wars animated film, which if you play that thing at 1.5x speed, that's about what it needs to be in order to be an entertaining film. This is The Mandalorian season 4 getting canceled. Here's how I view this from my standpoint. If I have just been asked, make a season of a show and also make a movie, and also make sure that the season stands on its own and leads to the movie, and the movie needs to stand on its own, but it also needs to lead into the movie. And also it's the entire future of the franchise. And if there's a way, maybe you can incorporate Rey in order to put it into Galaxy's Edge. Is there anything else that we... Oh, and by the way, make sure there's lots of different toys in order to merchandise this, because the merchandise hasn't been moving very well, John.
As Hasbro revealed today.
Right. 20% down. Hasbro is 20% down right now. And that's not all Disney. Yes, whenever we mention Hasbro, somebody always is quick to come in and say, it's not all Disney's fault. Well, a lot of it is. If they were making... It only takes one successful brand to raise a company like that into good fortunes. But they're selling off massive losses, much like Disney. Actually, they get along with Disney pretty well. The thing that I'm trying to say here is this production needs to do too many things in order to be a show and a movie. That does not make any sense. There are very few times that a show has moved into theaters and been both theatrically and commercially critically and commercially successful. I think they're not worried about critically at this point, but commercially successful, I don't think that's going to happen if they try to do both. So this doesn't make any sense. Also, they can't move all of those costs away from Disney Plus, as we've gone over several times here. They are shifting costs away from Disney Plus. They're repurposing things in order to try to fix the mistake of Disney Plus here. So yeah, this one rings true to me even before it's confirmed.
Loki, what do you think about the idea? Let me go to Loki real quick. Loki, what do you think about the idea that they got nervous that if the first 6 episodes, which was going to be the entirety of this season 4 now, that if that performed poorly, it was going to be a bad lead into the box office?
They screwed this up. They did this the wrong way, okay? And I'm going to use a show that was on in the 90s to kind of talk about this. There was a TV show on Monday nights that was the most popular TV show in the world. It had ratings that no one had ever seen. It broke every record, every Nielsen record, every record that had ever been made on a Monday night show. And you know what they did? They tried to go head to head with this other company, and instead of making their money in pay-per-view, instead of making their money in all these ways, they tried to duke it out on Monday nights. What Disney has done is Disney has said, hey, you know what? We're going to come out with this TV show, and we're going to have Grogu, and we're going to have this, and we're going to have that. And they haven't really made the merch. Why didn't they come out with a movie first? Imagine you go and see this movie, Star Wars movie about a bounty hunter. It's like Boba Fett, and he's hunting people down. And at the end of the movie, there's this little hand that comes up out of the cradle, and it's Baby Yoda, and you're like, oh my God. And then they bring that to Disney Plus. You have suddenly got a huge audience that went and saw this in the movies and the theaters that is now subscribing to Disney Plus instead of the other way around. You're now trying to sell this as a movie instead of banking on what you could have at the time because you want to win the streaming wars.
Well, especially if you look at it in context of how popular the first season of Mandalorian was. That had, like, sure, there were still people that, like, had issues with it. Fair enough. There were some lore problems for sure, especially if we're viewing it through the lens of the EU. But overall, that was, like, the most united that the Star Wars fandom had been since Disney bought the thing. And so if that audience had all gone to theaters, or even, like, a good chunk of them had all gone to theaters, money.
Big brain!
Money. You make money.
You make money.
Probably an actual profit, unlike that trilogy y'all put out. How about it?
And then transfer all that success into your streaming platform instead of we want to be the streaming kings. So we're going to come out with this, and we're going to throw this out here. We're going to throw season 2 out, and we're going to throw season 3 out. All you have to pay is $13 for it, or $12, or $10, or whatever the hell they're trying to sell. Or you can get it for free because we're going to bundle it with your Xbox for a year.
Oh boy, I can't wait for that
paying
bundle.
for Disney Plus. They're getting it through Verizon and crap.
I just want to go back to what Jonas was saying, and I actually think this rumor probably has some validity to it too, especially after the earnings webcast that we saw with Bob Iger. We know that they're taking the Moana TV series and turning that into a feature film now. That's confirmed. He made no mention of the Mandalorian television show at all during it. He did mention the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew.
That's a great point.
And he mentioned the Mandalorian and Grogu film. So I do find that that's interesting there if we listen to that webcast. And to me, this does seem to be their strategy, right? I mean, we were just talking about the Hasbro $1 billion impairment. Well, Disney took a $1.8 billion impairment last year because all of their Disney Plus shows were absolutely failing, and they had to basically write them off for a tax break. You look at Willow, you look at the Mighty Ducks series, things like that. These shows are not doing well. The only thing they kind of greenlit was the Percy Jackson show. That seems to be doing, I guess, somewhat successful over there. But for the most part, what did they do? They just dumped, they cut Echo down from like 8 episodes to 6 to 5. They're dumping that. They're spreading out their Marvel stuff. Who knows what's going to happen with Ironheart? But it seems to be that this is the trend. We're seeing a trend starting to develop here with Disney where they're taking shows from Disney Plus now, maybe moving them back into feature film. I think the Deadpool trailer is a perfect example of that. They introduced the TVA in the Loki show, and now they're showing up in Deadpool 3 as almost like a continuation of what was going on in the Loki show. So
that earnings report,
there's a lot of evidence
John,
adding up to this.
I had not thought of that. That's a fantastic remark. Really appreciate you connecting that dot. We'll be thinking about that more. Culture, let me give you the last word on this, and then we're going to go to bonus member chats that are just for VI Pro level members today. Culture, your thoughts?
Well, I'm at the point of not caring. I think they're probably going to cancel. Sorry, I mean the amount of apathy in me is
you don't want another season 3. You don't want another Lizzo and Jack Black.
No,
you're good now.
I'm fine with them canceling it.
What if we throw in a free Vespa?
You didn't like
that?
that?
A free Vespa.
They weren't even the worst part of that season.
Jabba didn't even like Lizzo. Jabba was like, Jabba no bata, no Lizzo.
All I know is that spinning is a good trick. So, look, this thing was not in good shape. I was not super thrilled about it. I thought that once Gina was off the show, it wasn't going to matter anymore. Get rid of season 4. I don't care. I don't really care about any of this stuff anymore. That's the worst thing you can create. I had a great quote this morning that I read, and this I'm going to say, and then I'll shut up. But the worst thing you could do is put out a product that nobody cares about.
Right. It's better they hate it.
Yeah. I mean, at least they have some kind of feeling. But the problem is if you create so much hate that eventually people just get tired of that hate or whatever, you create apathy. You create, just a complete, somebody's going to hate what you produce no matter what it is going forward. And Disney has done that on such a scale at such a level that it's ridiculous. In fact, the one product I think that is going to be available for everybody to see starting tomorrow is this Madam Web film. And I know that's not Disney, but Sony is going to release something that nobody cares about. And what's really weird is that same sense in a bunch of characters you don't know anything about, because nobody does. The Madam Web characters that they're bringing on, very few people read anything related to those books. But Disney's managed to take something that was truly beloved and create so much animosity for so long that people just don't care anymore. It's the worst part of apathy, and that's
Culture, what I'm here to tell you. You're not a buzzkill. The audience, they're not a buzzkill. Disney killed the buzz.
Yeah,
Disney killed the buzz.
There you go. All right, folks. Let's
and they
get
know
to
it
these.
Too. In the trailer,
no,
that
they definitely
Deadpool
do.
has to be the savior.
The problem is that Deadpool may be the savior of the MCU for one summer. There's nothing behind that to be saved. That's the problem.
Yeah, it takes a lot more than one movie. And that's me saying and acknowledging that movie might end up doing very well, and it might end up being really fun and pretty solid. But you need more than just one film.
It's also the only film greenlit under Bob Chapek. And you won't hear the media tell you that.
Oh, of course not.
All right, bonus member chats. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Gary Beekler over at Nerdrotic did an excellent video. It's like, what do they have next? They have a Captain America film without Captain America in it. They have a Thunderbolts film without the Thunderbolts in it. I mean, it's like, what are they doing over there?
Well, we'll see how that goes for them. I don't think it's going to go well. Skeptic Tank says, caught the stream a little late, but caught the bit about the Tomb Raider remaster mess. Whatever happened to objective appraisals, reviews of games? A la GamePro, graphics, sound, controls, gameplay, fun factor. You can hide your narrative. Is that too hard for today's class of developers? Great panel as always. I love those rubrics, and that may be something we bring to this channel in the future. I've thought about that, is a rubric for grading these things. I think those are handy for a number of reasons. Thank you, Skeptic Tank. And then that table guy, a.k.a. Tommy Table, says, if you'd like a member spotlight to talk about your hobbies or interests, reach out to me on X at The Table Guy. So The Table Guy. Reach out to Tommy, folks, if you would like a member spotlight video. All right, it was wall-to-wall coverage of everything entertainment as we kept you ahead of the culture curve. But, folks, as always, the binder is filled, and there was content we did not quite get to. But that, rest assured, shall be coming to you very soon. The 60K subscriber celebration this Thursday at 5 p.m. We will be getting to Madam Web, as well as the class action lawsuit against Amazon Prime Video. Both of those planned for today, but we did not quite get there. A live stream of pure, unadulterated excellence. That's what you received. Highly recommend, folks, that you go check out Stone Loki, Culture Casino, NDA Andrew, also known as Caffeinated Wolf, in case you have a hard time finding him. And, of course, the Trent Report. Don't forget that Park Place. Subscribe over there and bookmark the website. Culture, before we head out of here, can you tell the folks what's coming up on the H-Cast today, which is where we are redirecting?
Oh, boy, yeah. And in 1 hour and just a few minutes, you'll be able to see the H-Cast. And today we're going to be talking about some Godzilla -1 and the victory lap that the director is taking on Hollywood. We'll be talking about Dune Part 2 and some very concerning tracking numbers as far as the box office goes. We'll also be talking about Mace Windu and his return, possibly. We're going to talk about the Acolyte release and a few other surprises, but most importantly, we're going to talk about some Madam Web, because that's just going to be huge.
Yay! Loki, this is your first time on the channel. It's been a pleasure, sir. Can you tell the folks where they need to go on YouTube to find you and what time that would be?
Sure. I am over at Loki's Mornings of Mischief. We go Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time every week without fail. We will be there. We do a late night show on Friday where anybody can show up. Anything can happen. We never know. Sometimes Culture's on. Sometimes, the Shellback Turtle guy's on. Snowdub is my co-host over there. Anybody can show up. Anything can happen. We have a fun time. We talk about everything. Don't talk often about Disney, because I'm right where Culture is. The apathy kind of set in too much. But I've absolutely loved being here, and I've loved hanging out with you guys and talking about this stuff. It's kind of refreshing after being silent so long about, Disney, that to come in here and get a chance to talk about it. Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. Are all hearts and minds clear after all of this fun we've had, gentlemen? In that case, Jonas, roll those super chats.
Yeah,
I saw a little jiggle. Juggle. Sorry.
Tony the Mighty for $2. Filoni can't juggle that well. That's very true. Coyote Trickster for $10. Yeah, we're all united in Disney buying Star Wars that it was going to be a disaster. I gotta say, I had hope at the time. I was so excited, but that also came with the promise that George Lucas had created story treatments.
Ooh. You talk about a letdown now. It's been a huge letdown, and it has done no service for Disney to have done what they've done to themselves.
I really thought we were going to get so much.
It was against it.
I thought we were going to get so much good content. I thought we were going to get Knights of the Old Republic with Revan. I thought we would get all of this stuff.
You were looking at what was happening with the MCU at the time. That's what happened. We all looked at the MCU at the time and said, yeah, we'll take that for Star Wars.
Yep. And the Mickey File podcast gifted 10 WDW Pro memberships. Dude.
Holy cow, look at that.
What if somebody wants theirs well done?
We ask them politely yet firmly to leave.
We need rest. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is spongy and bruised.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I can't handle any more generosity. It's too much for us at this point. Thank you so much, Mickey File.
Yes, wow. Thank you very much, Mickey File. And
Loki's mind has been blown by that last clip.
For $5.
That Rennigan will do it to you.
Cyrano2960 for $5. How can you tell the story when most characters disappear? Not.
Exactly. It's a great point. And that's why the stories have largely gone away. All right, folks, one thing to tell you is we unfortunately must also go away. And you too. You may go get your Hot Pockets and your coffee or your soda or your beverage of choice. But don't turn the dial on the computer, please, if there is a dial at all. For the HCast cometh for you. And more great content, make sure you're bookmarked at thatparkplace.com. Celebrations aplenty coming up this week, both here on this channel and That Park Place, the YouTube channel. And folks, it is now time for us to bid you adieu. It is with great sorrow, but also joy, that we shall see you very, very soon. We hope you had a great time. Put this one in the archives, available until Friday for everybody. And then after that, just like all of these pro show lives, they go into the member side, where members can enjoy them forevermore. Folks, thanks for being here. Thank you for sharing your time. It's an honor and a pleasure. The mainstream media just can't understand how it is we continue to do what we do. They don't realize that we are powered by you, and you are
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
Folks, we've still got decades and decades left in the can. It drives the mainstream mad.
Would it make you feel any better if you knew that what we're asking Matt here to do is a holy thing?
You see, we're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God.
Now you're gonna put me right back in the joint.
They're not gonna catch us. We're on a mission from God.
So, folks, as we always say as we end each and every show here, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Every time they hit him, he stood back up again. So they hit him harder. Still, he got back to his feet. Standing man.